We finally arrived. It is main event draft season. We are going to kick things off tonight with the first of 4 FFPC main event drafts over the next 4 weeks. Every Thursday evening, we will have one for you. And tonight, we are joined by our stat-chasing fellas, Sacrilegious and Rico. We are drafting from the 102 spot. Let's giddy up here.
Pat Fryer Helmo.
This is why I'm hot.
Anita Handjob.
Fix your sight.
Jamar. Alpha play chase.
Are you kidding me? Kadarius Toney?
You can't handle the heat.
It looks like we're finally piss boys. You're right.
All right. No time for pleasantries. We are on the clock. CMC goes first here, boys.
Now the chat can't see this, but there's an IR designation next to Lamb. So should we play for him to come back?
Any
is
other
there an
things
IR?
here other than CeeDee Lamb? Are you guys all good there?
I mean, he just LOL'd his his owner talking about. Yeah, I think it's CD, right? Are you guys all good with that?
Yeah,
It's CD.
Yeah, I'm good with CD. I don't know if we wanted to get an LOL discount on our draft slot.
Well, Sacrilegious, you're the Cowboys fan. What's the boots on the ground? Is this holdout situation actually going to materialize?
I don't know. It's just Jerry Jones doing stupid ass Jerry Jones things. It's gotten real old, man. It's been this guy's lived way longer than I thought he would live.
We're at the 3rd pick. Let's go. It's main event season. So I have a margarita going. Sack, what are you drinking? I poured some whiskey. I was like, look, it's that time. This is gonna be a fun night. I can tell.
How are you doing down there, Draco?
doing good. Had a little bit of news. Lauren and I, my wife, we're now expecting a child.
Hey,
congratulations!
congratulations.
That's
A
incredible.
long time coming. We've been trying for a long time.
My
So,
God, we're yeah. wishing death on people. We're welcoming a new life.
It's
An emotional first 5 minutes.
That's incredible.
To be clear,
That's
I did not
awesome,
wish
Rico.
death on Jerry Jones.
That's
I'm
actually
just
a wish
surprised
You just
his
expect it.
virility. Yeah.
When you need to clarify that you didn't wish death on someone, it's definitely. There's a lot of things that are explained by my "I did not wish death on" Jerry Jones T-shirt.
If you find yourself stating publicly that you haven't wished death, not everything went perfect up until that moment.
The way I kind of read it is like this town ain't big enough for both Jerry Jones and Draco's future kid. And, someone's got to make room for him.
Oh, man.
I'm kind of shocked that the draft is paused already.
Yeah, what do we got going on? Is there anything in the chat, Draco?
There's nothing.
Yeah, it just says draft is paused 1 moment, please.
All right.
Why?
So is he going to the bathroom or something? And like he doesn't want someone to Mr. Pick?
Because they do
I mean,
have.
The person on the clock isn't in the room. You can see from the red dot under their name. Everyone else is in the room. They're probably trying to call them. You know, it's main event season. They try to make sure that people don't auto, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, this draft filled, 6 hours ago?
There's another theory here, No Cap Mac, that Jerry was listening and has shut down our draft. It seems as likely as anything else, to be honest.
Starkinder says they're just switching Taysom Hill back to tight end.
Oh, man.
What
Draco, congrats, man.
It's nice.
That's exciting. How did you just find out? It sounds like you kind of just found out.
Well, no, I didn't just find out, but there's the whole
There's that
whole
period
thing of,
where you gotta
not
Yeah.
Sure.
yeah, not Lauren. She just posted it on social media this week,
Got
and
it.
then I was gonna post it in a Discord, but I was like, No, I'm talking to you. I might as well. This is a better way to share than this.
That's
For
right.
sure.
Look at that, Chris G. $4.99 super chat. Buy one pair of socks.
If you share that with me, I can get 1/5 of a new pair of shoes for them.
All right, we're back to the races. Tyreek Hill and Bijan go here, so not too long of a delay. I don't believe.
I also did the August move, pregnancy in August. It's nice. It's good. It's pretty good for the football season. I have to recommend it. Although I guess no, you would have done earlier.
Seems
so is this football season conflicting with the birth?
No, we get March 10th, so fully in the clear.
Beautiful. Perfect.
Right in that like football dead zone.
Oh yeah.
Pat, how are you spinning August as a good time to have a baby as a football content?
No, not a good time to have a baby. A good time for her to get pregnant.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Sorry. I thought you said have a baby. I was like, that's an awful time.
Yeah.
I legit, when Lauren and I started talking about it, like I wanted to try to time it better. And then she's just like, no, we're going to start. And so then, December, like I was like trying to do the whole like mid-February, just time it up perfectly.
Mid-February is ideal.
And it didn't work. December 8th. But I got to
early April is actually didn't go over
team.
well. Like, no, we can't try this time. We got to wait till next month.
It's also like half the year where you're like, we can't be trying right now.
Like CeeDee Lamb, I'm threatening a holdout, babe.
She's like, LOL.
You're like, I just don't feel a sense of urgency this time.
You're the Jerry Jones. She's the LOL.
That's probably how it played out.
So I know Drico and Zack, you guys have done a bunch of the best ball tournament drafts. Have you guys done any of the managed drafts on FFPC yet this year?
I have not yet. I've got one ticket to the smaller, the 350 that I still have to do. So this is my first managed draft on FFPC this year.
Nice.
Yeah, this will probably be the only for me. These teams are fun to do, but I'm not great at the in-season management, so I'd like to keep that load.
Get in line, brother.
Yeah,
that's why we have Steph.
Lucky. We are lucky to have Steph. The biggest rule of manage is you just go get your guys, right? You just draft whoever you want, whenever you want, 20 picks ahead of ADP.
Right. Especially in the $2,000 drafts. Like, you just throw ADP right out the window.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to let the room dictate who we pick. Jeez.
Yeah, I didn't reckon. I know Hubbard is in this draft room. Didn't recognize any of the other drafts. It didn't fill until this afternoon. So it was a bunch of people kind of piling in at the last minute here, so we'll see how it goes. We get Sam Laporta goes at 110. He's generally been early second round guy, so maybe a little signal of what's to come.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Right, especially if they double top here, that really puts the squeeze on.
Yeah. Garrett Wilson, AJ Brown, Amon-Ra, Justin Jefferson, Chase, Brees, the other picks in reverse order. How I said them after Bijan.
I don't know who I got to pay to get a 111 room where Garrett Wilson's still there, but I'd like to pay them.
Well, you're going to be in luck because I believe two of our other teams are 1-9s in the coming weeks.
I will be okay at 1-9.
Where do you guys think Puka goes in this? Because
good question.
First or second round, you're paying $2,000 for the draft. Probably feels a little uncomfortable picking him.
I think he goes in the next 5 picks. I don't think he falls that much, but I think he should fall further than that.
Oh, that's interesting. I don't think he should fall really at all. He had with some kind of sack, he burst in his knee. It's an uncomfortable thing. He's going to probably be back at practice next week, I think.
Next week?
I mean, maybe not next week, but they were basically I read one of the injury doctors was like, yes, it's week to week, as in you should take a week off after this and then reassess next week. But it's not the type of thing that you would really expect to have any impact by the season.
Right. It sounded like a little bit of a thing where it's you want it to be fully rested going into the season. You don't want to go into week 1 and he's just kind of playing through an injury.
But do you guys have any concern about not getting in training camp, like not getting the reps all through August?
Not really.
I would if he wasn't Matt Stafford's favorite target last year.
Yeah, exactly.
But then all the reports out of camp are like Cooper Kupp it's going to run through Cooper Kupp again, and he's the target.
That's a different thing, and I think a reason to I flipped, and everyone's flipped at this point. Garrett Wilson ahead of him, and that's good enough reason to do that for sure. But I mean, he was just.
But Cooper Kupp's flying up.
Cooper Kupp is flying up. Yeah.
How does that impact your take on?
It's so concentrated, right? It's one of these two guys, and then you do have upside with each of the guys that it really flows through them. And they both have pretty strong cases to be that guy. And even if they're not the other guy, it's like, it's not going to be a total disaster, especially since after the top 11 players, there's such a fall off that we all feel anyway. So like the miss is basically like Puka was really not part of the top 11. He was going 11th, but he was really more in line with the guys going in the early to mid second. I can live with that. And then the upside is he builds on his rookie year.
Yeah, that makes sense. Interesting Devo pick here. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, no, and I was just going to say, I know I have a hard time going from Underdog brain over here too, but the Puka stuff, you think about where Puka is on Underdog and half-point PPR and like what the boost he gets in full PPR too. Yeah. It's just really hard to let him slide with that workload.
Yeah.
Sure. We do see, so the turn goes Gibbs, Barkley. Garrett Wilson drafter grabs Debo. The Laporta drafter does grab Puka there, so doesn't slide that far. Then we see Trey McBride, Kelsey, and Kyron go off here.
Debo and
That's
Kyron
very early
both
for Kyron too.
Yeah.
Yep.
People it's get your guys season.
Yeah, your guys.
I mean, people have been saying Kyron belongs in the second round for a while. I know Hayden Winks has been banging that drum, saying he should be with Jahmyr Gibbs. Debo, obviously, with the Ayuk trade, he just replaced Puka. He's now the wide receiver 8, right? I mean,
does Debo go that high in Underdog?
He's been moving up
a little bit, but
the thing is, ADP is like 17 now, but it's on the rise.
And I think that makes sense. If Ayuk gets traded, I think he belongs right there with London. I'm surprised London's still on the board at 2-8, but talking about people that are on the board.
Yeah, I gotta say, I mean, Barkley finally goes where he should here at the 1-2 turn in a ship chasing room. You love to see it.
It's nice.
Marvin Harrison and JT off the board. So we got 2 more picks and then we are up, fellas. And it does feel like we are going to have the decision that we spilled thousands and thousands of words on in our group chat.
Well, it's a different one, potentially.
It is
potentially, yeah. There's a few different ways you could go here.
I mean, I know that we're all super high on Dalton Kincaid here, and that's what we're really thinking about.
So. I mean, that is my next highest tight end. Yes, but that's not even the discussion we had. He's probably gonna go, I would guess. I don't know.
That's what Sacrilege is trying to do, is get him to go.
Yeah, he's really trying to get him off the board.
I'd also like for him to go. You're not worried at all about the Kincaid route stuff? That's been pretty bearish at a camp.
I mean, I am a little bit, but I'm more focused on the upside scenarios. And this is not a very good passing game. He doesn't have, like, nobody else can really earn a lot of targets. And all this stuff just doesn't seem like what's important to the actual Derrick Henry goes.
Derrick Henry
goes.
Ooh.
So with 3 palatable tight ends, I kind of think we go Achan here and then get whoever comes back.
I was going to float that too. What do you guys think?
That's what I was going to float.
Yeah, I'm good with Achan here.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. And I almost wonder if whoever we wanted was going to come back, so it really doesn't matter if we did have a preference on the tight end, but it does seem like we don't have a consensus there, so maybe this drafter will make it easier on us.
Right. There's obviously a couple tight ends.
I mean, I think we all really were excited about the possibility of Achane, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
I think Achane is a potential
Very
smash. Yeah.
It's a really fun pick.
Really fun pick. Really, really fun pick. Yeah.
And we, even when we did our show, like back, or we'll make these picks and then we can talk a bit about this. If Adams goes at the turn and ETN, so
Oh my God.
the entire thing.
I'm cool with whatever you guys, whatever.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
I kind of wish we had an easier decision here.
Yeah, this is a really tough one.
Zack, pick your favorite tight end. It's up to you guys.
I mean, you know where I lie, Draco. I'm firmly on the Mark Andrews train here.
Okay. It's get
Where
your
are
guys
you?
season. The ADP isn't that far apart. Like, it's 28 versus 24, which I guess it's early round. So
Ooh, little ADP value on Kincaid. Ooh, a little ADP value.
does anybody object to Andrews?
No, that's my preference too.
No one would. No one would ever object to that.
After all of our talk today, I would take Pitts over Kincaid if it came down to it. But yeah,
Interesting. Okay.
And it's funny because I think if it was just me, I think I would have just done the ADP bro thing and like, Kincaid's not normally here. Grab Kincaid, but I like Andrews a lot. And this start, CeeDee Lamb on Achane, Mark Andrews. It's hard.
That's
to
so
Yeah, I mean,
fun.
Yeah.
let's just get 50% Mark Andrews. I mean, when we get the ADP value, on Kincaid,
Dude, I'm so glad you're on board. We had a long discussion in Discord, and it sounds like I won Ben over.
Ben did get me to draft so much Kyle Pitts today, though. I had 309 slow drafts going, and I gotta say, I think in like
Hang on, what now?
of the 309 slow drafts I have going, I think like 40 or so were in a position to take Kyle Pitts today, and I'm pretty sure out of those 40, like 30 of them took Kyle Pitts. So
wow.
There you go.
All right.
I'm getting the exposure corrected.
I love that.
Well, the thing, and we talked about this when the very first show when we were doing like the best ball to manage transition, and we pulled up the FFPC draft board and looking at this side of the board. And if you pass on the running back and you pass on the tight end, either of them at this turn, you're like almost funneled, at least in this current landscape, to a 0 RB and punt tight end build. Like you almost have to take one of the running back or tight end, just the way the ADPs fall. And I think when you get both of them here, we're now set up for like max flexibility, max best player available at every juncture for like the next 7 rounds.
Yeah. You really buy a lot of flexibility with the start because there are wide receivers available in round 7, 8, and 9 in a way that there's not on Underdog at all. I mean, there are in round 7 on Underdog now, but not the late 7th, really.
Yep.
And one of my biggest questions, or the reason I wanted to have our discussion the way we had it, was because very often we had been taking Mark Andrews in the second there, even though his ADP is the third round, and that's what started getting us to the 40-50% Andrews. But actually getting a second round player and then Mark Andrews, like daring the turn to take him and him coming back, somehow feels a lot better than just take him in second.
We're all trying to find the guy who got us to 40% Andrews.
Yeah, so Kincaid does go off 2 picks later. So there's another rainbow start like ours, Bijan, Drake, and Kincaid. The 2 other tight end teams grab Neighbors and Nico for 2 wide receiver, 1 tight end starts.
My favorite part of the Andrews 40% exposure comment was like, it's main event season. If you do have any qualms, like you can easily recorrect it. But you guys were like, no. We're going all in on Andrews in the main events too. I guess I'm in on Andrews now. I haven't been that heavy on him, but you got him in a main event. You're in on him.
You are. Yeah. I mean, it's nice. Like we got lucky in our first main event to get Brees to fall to 6, right?
Yeah.
You're at the 6th vault. Yeah. And then we grabbed Waddle, and then we grabbed Kelsey, and then we grabbed Waddle. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
My God. But that those first 3 rounds, 1 running back, 1 tight end, one wide receiver, it doesn't matter too much like which order it's in. I guess the running back I kind of really prefer it to be the first 2 rounds because I don't love the guys going in the third, but it's a nice start. It really sets you up well in this environment.
Pitts at 3 tight is insane. Just putting it out there.
This is a good point by Nick, too, with 101 taking Adams and ETN there. I'm confident y'all would have gotten HN at 302. See, I'm actually saying I'm not confident.
No, I'm not at all.
I think if they were willing to take ETN, then they would have been very open to taking HN.
He takes HN.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. They wouldn't take ETN over HN.
Right.
Probably.
Yeah. I mean, you could quibble with which tight end we took, but I don't think you can quibble with our decision to take HN because we literally had 3 tight ends we were comfortable with, and he only gets 2 picks. So it's just it's a no-brainer, I think, to let the guy decide for you. I mean, we didn't even have consensus on which tight end to go with, so let the guy get his pick.
Right. Yeah, we were actually hoping they would take some tight ends to make the decision easier.
Exactly.
Yeah. So the 12 hole has started Gibbs, Barkley, and Josh Jacobs.
Let's go.
That's a true throwback.
High T.
My face is melting.
Someone in the chat called that earlier. I'm pretty sure.
Rashad White. That's what this team needs.
Oh my God!
I'm dialed in, baby.
Holy shit.
Wow.
Sure you didn't see that? Oh my God.
Wow. Electric.
The Oracle.
Absolutely electric.
It literally, as it was coming out of your mouth, populated on screen.
Amazing.
That's
Somebody
incredible.
clip that. That was insane. Couldn't have been. I mean, that needs to go in the intro. That was so good.
Wow. Neil says some people know ball, other people know drafters.
Amazing.
Well, if any of you guys have the tequila, you can do a Mr. X night until they take their first wide receiver.
I am drinking tequila, so we'll see.
Wow.
Oh,
when I drink whiskey on stream, I tend to get hammered. So,
and just as a reminder, what are you drinking?
I'm drinking whiskey.
Sacrilegious, you're good at ballparking stupid math things like this. How many times in the FFPC main event do you think one team will start 4 wide receivers and the team directly next to them will start 4 running backs? The yellow on green that we're seeing from the 11 to the 12.
Wow. And it has to be adjacent like that?
It has to be adjacent.
It's beautiful too. It's just
gorgeous.
aesthetically pleasing.
It looks like it played.
How many total teams in the main, or how many total drafts in the main event?
Yeah. Let me see here. We'll look this up. Main event. All right. There are. Where are we? Got to go in the rules.
4,260 teams. So what?
Okay.
Is that 200?
4,200?
Fascinating to see, in addition to the Debo pick, Brandon Ayuk sliding here.
Yeah.
Pulling out my sheet. I've moved him down, but he's still showing up as one of my top available wide receivers.
Yeah.
So there's 355 total drafts.
I don't want him. I want him to go. I desperately want him to go. You guys really want to take Arthur Smith's wide receiver 1?
He's gone. Hang on.
That's got to happen under 4.5 times for sure. I under 3.5 out of
you guys
all
just witnessed
355
history.
Drafts.
Is what we're trying to say. If you're in a main event draft this year and you see this happen, send us a screenshot.
I really want the screenshots. Please tag me.
Yeah.
Chris Diaz, team 11 and 12 both think they're drafting next to an idiot.
That's a great comment. The duality of man.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so we are going to be coming up here at the 4-5 turn. Pittman, Ingram, Ayuk, DJ Moore, James Cook, Evans, and the aforementioned Rashad White. The other picks here. We're going to be looking at some yellow. Some really good options, though. That's for sure.
Yep.
Metcalf goes.
Yeah, I'm just throwing dudes in the queue. Feel free to ignore me, but yeah, throwing dudes in the queue.
We're gonna be happy with who we take.
Yeah.
You're gonna love the way you look. I guarantee it.
I was
okay. Wow, Kittle goes.
I was gonna make a case for Kittle here.
Yeah.
I had him at the top of the queue.
I was pretty interested. That would have been an easy sell.
I think we were about to windmill it.
Yeah,
but that's why you.
Yeah,
that's why you got to take a tight end in 2, or if you're early 3, right? Because you're not going to be able to get the certainty of anything coming back. I mean, at this point now, it's like, do you reach on
Ferguson
powers,
now,
right?
And 2 teams with the double, really starving the beast in this room.
Yep. Yeah, we would have done the double, so I like it, but glad we have Andrews. This tier of wide receivers is both like you're glad to get one, but also like couldn't it be one of the ones earlier too?
Yeah.
Well, there's one that I have a tier up from the rest.
Oh, nice. Okay, good.
I think Gretches is probably who I was looking at too.
Yeah, I think
he goes there.
Autos.
That was.
I mean, the whole reason you take Andrews is to set up the Week 17 correlation with Diggs.
So Flowers is who I normally take, but the double with Andrews isn't ideal.
Can we go back and take Kincaid, please?
I don't. Why do you not think the double's
I'm still
ideal?
okay. I'm
okay. I'm okay.
Completely
because
fine.
they've thrown fewer than 500 pass attempts in 4 of the last 5 seasons.
Like, if Mark Andrews,
Greg Roman and stuff.
I'm good making a systemic bet on the. I'm pretty.
Yeah.
The Ravens are. I want to plant my flag on the Ravens this season. It feels like a.
The scenarios where Andrews is smashing, I'm feeling really good about.
Do you not think these other receivers are in the same tier? Why are we pushing that? I know you want to flag plant that, but we've already done that with the Andrews pick.
I think it's pretty strong correlated bet to say that, hey, we think that Andrews was fundamentally mispriced.
Zay, right?
Yeah, it sounds like we're taking Zay.
Because if you say Andrews was fundamentally mispriced, we took him here at the 3-2 because the Ravens are passing more than the market is projecting right now. And if that's happening, Zay Flowers is probably cooking. Like, this is a pretty consolidated offense between Andrews and Zay in the passing game.
So
we have a lot of choices here.
We got to figure out this pick.
No?
I don't think
Lamar has an AP of 58.
Yeah, Josh Allen is still on the board.
Yeah, I don't think
I mean, he might come all the way back. I don't think you have to take Lamar, right?
I think you should take Lamar. We just did the double stack.
And instead of a third receiver that could be either,
I think we should take a receiver.
I would be receiver.
I think
I was going to say Higgins or.
Yeah. I think I'm Higgins with all the camp reports. They're saying he's having the best camp of his career, all that stuff. I don't know.
I'm good. Yeah, I'm good with either. Higgins or Dell.
That's good.
I have Dell over him in my ranks. I'm just saying that right now.
I'm Tank, but I'm not going to push back on Higgins.
It's
I got a back-to-back. Does anybody else have a strong lean?
I don't have a strong lean. I'm happy with either guy.
Pull the
Dricko,
trigger
what do you
on
like?
what you guys want here.
Well,
Dricko, who do you like?
we ran out of time. Well, I think one reason to do T, and I know Tank would have opened this up as well, is at least it gives us another route to Burrow.
Yeah, that's true.
The reason we don't take Lamar here is we have all the quarterback outs in the world with whoever we took between T and Dell here.
Yeah.
And Dak with Lamb.
Right. That's
true. You guys are right. I think the receiver was the right pick.
It's kind of the end of a tier where there's an opportunity cost there. Pete, I'm sorry if Tank was something you said you didn't feel strong about, so maybe you don't mind.
They're both very close for me. I think the Stroud slide is like always a little compelling to me as well. But the Burrow thing is nice.
We could have had a really fun Week 17 thing if we took Tank there. I was just talking about it with Diggs. I didn't really think through that.
Yeah.
We talked about the Lamar thing until we had like 18 seconds on the clock.
Yeah, the week 17 means a little less in the sprint, though.
Right,
yeah.
it does.
Yeah.
I also think like
it is
I
the
think-
last week, like chronologically. So you kind of want the comeback, mechanism.
I take Tank over T in best ball pretty easily, but I also in manage like T is. I don't think like okay. I like Diggs because Diggs could be better than Nico Collins. He could be the number one there. Is Tank going to be like the number one?
That's kind of
like-
how I feel about this too. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I lean T here, I think.
Yeah,
'Cause,
like
like,
you lock him in. Like T's in the flex every week. I feel
Chase
great.
is holding out. There's some weird scenarios, and T's in practice, and he looks great. Like this is something I'm thinking about with the Ayuk Debo stuff, where like people think that whenever Ayuk shows up or whatever gets traded, he's gonna be fine. I'm like, this dude at this time last year, everyone was praising Brandon Ayuk. Debo had the quote that he couldn't guard him in a phone booth. Everyone was like, this guy showed up so focused, all that stuff, and that's why he went on to have the super elite season. I think people think even if he doesn't get traded, that he's going to like just step back on the field and be great with San Fran. And I'm pretty skeptical of that. Like, I think he's going to start really slow. They have other options. I think there's a not as much of a risk of that with Chase, but the fact that Higgins, who wants to be traded eventually, wants a new contract, but has shown up to camp and reporters are like, he's having the best camp of his career. I'm like, dude, we're getting a mulligan on taking him at the 2-3 turn last year. We're getting him at 5.02. Like, he could be a beast, man. He played hurt all last year. I don't know. But Tank's a really good pick.
He's a good pick.
I like the thought of with T, you feel confident in starting him in every week, whereas Tank is maybe going to be more spike weeky, and you might not know the weeks to start him.
Right.
Yeah.
It feels
Yeah,
like T could be this year's Ayuk is kind of why I drew that line. Like what Ayuk was doing last year, that 4-5 receiver that we've been waiting on and was getting all the camp buzz.
And we all think is good. We think
he's good. And it's like, okay, this is the T Higgins season. He's playing for a new contract.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I like that. So I was on Davis Maddox pod and we were talking through the Garrett Wilson, Justin Jefferson thing. And I was like talking through kind of the Justin Jefferson stuff and why I like it. And then I was like, I think I just talked myself into Justin Jefferson over Jamar Chase. So when you talk about the holdout, like, where are you on that? Because like that's that holdout stuff that you said with Chase, because we're kind of giving Chase all these situation tiebreakers, but actually his situation isn't as clean as it seems.
It isn't. And Lamb's holding out too. And it's a really interesting question. Sean asked me about this today as well, or yesterday or something. We recorded a couple times these last couple of days. But I think because Chase and Lamb both, their teams need them so much that like when they come back, they'll be fine. Like apparently Burrow had a quote, they need 1 day of practice and they'll be up to speed and they'll be good to go, which is probably true. They played in college together as well. Yeah. The Ayuk thing is more skeptical. Like I'm more skeptical of, even if he doesn't get traded, because they have CMC, Debo, and Kittle who are all practicing and are all like they're just going to bring Ayuk along slowly, aren't they? Like, why would they rush him back? Like, I think Lamb and Chase they'll play 90% of the snaps in week 1 because I think it's like, how much does your team need you a little bit, right?
Right. Yeah.
One thing, there's lots of people in the chat, and this is because we haven't fully explained, and everyone's used to different formats who don't know this format here. So I'll explain. First of all, this is managed. This isn't best ball. There's 12 weeks, and then there's a 4-team playoff. Here, seed 1 is team with the best regular season record. The next one is team with the highest point total, and then it flips back to the team with the next best record, followed by the team with the next highest points total. Then you have the league playoffs in weeks 13 and 14, and then teams advance the top 2 to the championship round weeks 15 through 17, which is the sprint that Sacrilegious was just describing. So it's your total points. You are setting a lineup each week, but it's your total points across those 3 weeks. It's not individual pods like it is in Best Ball Mania.
Yeah. So what, up to 3 teams advance out of each league. Is that right?
What'd you say?
Up to 3 teams advance out of each 12-team league. Top point scorer, top record get in automatically, right? And then if you win the league, you also get in.
So if one of those teams wins, then it would just be the
it's just 2. Whatever, I think it's 2 to 3 teams get 2 to 3 teams get in.
Yeah.
One reason as well to go T over Tank is the week 14 buys. Isn't that the final week?
Yes.
That is the final. Yeah.
And so it's like we're hoping we get Lamar here. Well, I guess we won't.
Nope.
Yeah.
But
People go one stack.
that's what we were
quarterbacks a lot
playing
more here.
for. And if we had four early picks with a week 14 bye in the final, that would have been pretty tough.
That's
Yes.
a good point.
It would be.
I think we're totally good without Lamar. We just probably want to prioritize one of these other guys, Burrow
Yep.
or Dak.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of funny because I mean, this is not. I'm not going to stand on this take necessarily, but Lamar's. When we were talking today, I was talking about Lamar's upside case is a lot easier to see because in a year he can run for 1,200 yards. His career high in rushing TDs is only like 7. He could just still have a career high rushing season. It could be so good. But when you take Andrews and Flowers, you are really buying into this Monken thing, and you're saying that Lamar's probably not rushing for 1,000 yards or for all these rushing TDs. And then you get to that point where you're like, well, if he's more of a drop back passer, like he's still probably really good in this outcome because he'll run some. But we always talk about
I actually think that's his highest upside.
That's probably
scenario.
the highest upside scenario.
Yeah, it's his highest upside scenario. That's why I'm like, we just bet on him to have a nuclear. We bet on him for a back-to-back MVP. So that's why I was like, how do we not take him? But I think it's fine that we didn't take him because you get T. Higgins. It's pretty big.
We're betting on
nice.
pass rate being particularly high. And if Derrick Henry runs a lot and the pass rate goes high, maybe his rushing really falls off. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he still looks really good, but then
It'd be funny if he's just so Lamar's like just a pocket passer who powers a couple of guys, and then we get Dak covering him.
Lamar as the pocket passer.
So I'm tilting because Team 12 at the turn, they started with the 4 running backs.
So
They go Godwin and Montgomery. How do you not take Montgomery first if you're going to do that? Come
I know,
on. You
just
got to
for
get the
Henry.
5. You got to get the 5 green in a row.
Oh no, God!
Just really had to get Chris Godwin there. I mean, think of the value on Chris Godwin there. Is there a better wide receiver for that drafter to take than Chris Godwin in that?
Well, it's normally Michael Pittman, but the Pittman was already gone. Like normally that team always has Michael Pittman.
That's right.
Bummer. I had delusions of Rashee Rice somehow making it back to us.
I was hoping for that too a little.
Clay asked me if I'd seen any of Drake Maye tonight. I haven't.
He
But
only
how do
played.
you look?
He played 1 series and he threw 2 screen passes. They didn't let him do anything.
Were they good screen passes?
Yeah,
That's
One-
not
one-
going to stop that.
one went for a first down, 13 yards.
Oh
Third and long.
Oh
Who were they
baby!
to, Sacrilege? Who were they to?
Antonio Gibson. So get your
Uh-oh.
Gibson bags now.
Oh, I have them
Wow.
packed. Trust me, buddy.
By the way, you want
They
to
are
know
packed.
who was out there with the first team as a wide receiver?
Taekwon, right?
Yeah, Javon Baker.
Taekwon and
Don't say KJ Osborne, please.
KJ Osborne.
Not.
Yeah.
I saw that Javon Baker on Twitter. On Twitter, Javon Baker was the 5th receiver to come on the field for them.
Yeah, Baker did not get on early
But he did play. But he came on really
with
late.
Baker happy. Yeah,
Wow.
That's a shame.
We are up to 4 teams with 2 tight ends. There's the Pitts Laporta team. There's now a Kelsey Ferguson team. The Ingram team just took Bowers, and then there's the Kincaid Kittle team.
Good thing we got.
It's a really
That's
strong
not
strategy
Mark
this
Andrews.
year. Like really strong. Because like until you get to that gross cutoff, like there's
Yeah.
some really good values at tight end. And then you're kind of taking those values for yourself and you're throwing everyone else to the dogs.
Let's go. I love that take. I had somebody ask me, one of my like Stealing Signals Gold subscribers, for a contrarian FFPC strategy. I was like, take 3 early tight ends. Like if you want a contrarian, like because you can do it, and it's what you just said. Like I mean, it's viable. I think the elite tight ends are that strong this year, and I don't think anyone's going to go do that much.
Yeah,
I have
that doesn't usually work, but we don't usually have this environment.
Right.
So you're playing to the environment.
Right. You're saying 2024 is different, and people are not pricing it like it's different. You're saying it's different at the elite tight end spots, and people aren't playing it that way.
Right.
So.
Yeah, like the 10 hole could have started Laporta, McBride, Pitts if they wanted to.
I mean, that's I'm going to take Puka, but that would be fine.
Yeah. I'm in on that. I want that. Mojo tweeted a team did that from the 112, Laporta, McBride, Pitts, and I was like, I want that team. How can I get that team? That sounds so
That's a
fun.
team.
So we are on deck. Deontay Johnson, Hollywood Brown, Pickens, Rice, the wide receivers who have gone off the board in the 6th. Definitely seems like we are going to be looking at a wide receiver here.
I like the name in the queue. Whoever put him in the queue, that's my
I do
top
too.
guy.
Yeah, that would be my top pick as well.
Me as well.
That's what. Yeah, I put them in the queue. I never like it when there's like one clear guy.
I know it's always.
Yeah,
it's always a little.
Drico, I just threw another dude in the queue. How far of a reach would it be to take that dude that I just put in? It's kind of a reach, huh?
Is it just 2 in the queue right now?
No,
I don't
3.
see. I only see the 1.
Oh, I put a 3rd in there that you guys can't see. He's invisible.
You just got to refresh.
I'll refresh.
We'll see here. AY has 3 seconds left. It seems like Connor goes. Seems like we're all very much into Keenan here.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's clean.
Yep. It is.
Pretty easy call.
Clean.
That was a 5-man windmill dunk, the first one of all time.
We love it. I'll throw out a name here. This is something I do in best ball when I get sniped on Lamar. Is I will sometimes just take Anthony Richardson.
I knew you were going to suggest that. I was thinking of it too.
But the whole point was we have these outs to these other cheaper quarterbacks.
I know, but Richardson in the 7th is pretty sick.
He's also not as good in this format as he is
with the passing
Underdog.
scoring.
Yeah, that's still 4 per passing touchdown. So it's not like when Lamar was, he went like the 12th that year, but he was still the nuts.
I didn't realize you were going to come into the show as the guy pushing in a QB at every single pick, Pat.
we double stacked one of them, and then one fell to the 7th.
Are you doing this just so you can buy the dip on Josh Downs in round 17?
No, I'm actually pretty nervous about Downs. What else do you guys like? That didn't.
I want a wide receiver.
Okay.
So my preference would be Jayden Reed, but I know not everybody loves him.
I like Jayden Reed a lot, so I'd be
I
very
like
happy
Jayden
to
Reed
take
a lot.
Reed here.
I'm with Ben that we do the reach.
There's a
So
chance
the reach is
there
Xavier Worthy, and his ADP is the other side of the board, which
I don't think he comes
it's
back.
fine.
I mean, we got
He
sniped
won't
on
come
him in the mid-7. He won't come back. That would be with this build, right? We're talking about a wide receiver 5.
I'm okay with Worthy if we want to do it. Yeah. I like Reed, but I also like Worthy a lot. I think they're basically back to back.
I'm happy to do Worthy too.
Well, what do you guys want though? It's your guys' team, Zack and Drico. You guys should decide.
Drico, make the call. We got 5 seconds.
Yeah. Okay. Let's just take Worthy.
I thought we were gonna land on Reed there. Pete, I mean, you're not getting the tiebreakers tonight, man.
No, I mean, I think I love Worthy, but I think Reed is a smash as well.
Yeah.
Worthy's definitely, I don't know. I don't want to say he's definitely more fun. He's definitely more fun, but I think Reed is going to be a very fun player to have on your fantasy teams this year.
I just feel like
I've taken him a lot too.
You know,
I have a truckload of both, so
yeah.
I can't shake that Reed's the better and best ball thing with all the Packers. You're just hearing positive stuff about all of them. It's like, how many freaking yards and touchdowns is Jordan Love really going to throw for? Like, should we just all be drafting a lot more Jordan Love?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's the same thing with the Chiefs. It's just like, yeah, Mahomes is going to throw more. But I mean, the Chiefs are going to probably have a better and best ball element too.
That's probably fair. Yeah. I guess I think
Worthy could have that element though, where like if he comes on at a certain point, whereas okay, he's just very important to the team now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess in seasons where both of them tie for the wide receiver 12, I think I wanted Worthy.
Say that again?
Because it's easier to play him. Reed and Worthy score the exact same amount of points, tied for wide receiver 12. I'm pretty sure I wanted Worthy.
I don't know if I agree, because I think, don't you think Worthy is going to be pretty volatile week to week too? I think having massive games and also some stinkers.
Yes. I do agree that will be the case, but I think there will be there's a smaller window because he's a rookie and because, like he will still be spiky when he hits, but there's like a smaller window where a lot of his production will be. And so you're kind of more like fishing in a barrel there. Where I think Reed is just going to be like throughout the entire season, a little bit up and down and a little bit game plan dependent, and we're not always going to know. It's going to feel
counter
49ers-y.
The counter is there is a path for Reed to emerge as the alpha on this offense. I know it's the prevailing narrative. It's all going to be spread around, yada, yada. But there's the chance that he is by far the best wide receiver on this team and gets treated as such. And like, if you get that breakout, then like he's a 25+% target share and you're just starting him every single week. That outcome, at least from the target share perspective, is probably not possible for Xavier Worthy.
From the target share perspective, I agree, but I think by the end of the year, we could view Xavier Worthy as very clearly the best wide receiver on the Chiefs.
I agree with that too. I just think the Reed stuff has been so overblown with this rotation stuff that it's no longer like factoring in the outcomes where he is the best wide receiver and like emerges on that pecking order into more of a target hog than people are giving him credit for.
That's fair. I mean, he's definitely value. I think both were values at that pick.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would love if we could have, if there was any world where we could have gotten both, that would have been incredible, but there was not. Also, we do get to sneak a peek with Xavier Worthy and our Ravens.
That is true.
So
Oh, that's fun.
we've got the whole sneak a peek game stack.
That's good.
Oh, damn, dude.
In the sneak a peek stuff
Grinding the edges.
is way more, enticing for the skill position players. Like we were talking through it with some of the kicker defense. Like you got to add that second kicker, that second defense to take advantage of it. Like with the wide receiver, like you just say, like Xavier Worthy pops off or he does nothing. Like it's just such a clean take a peek on him because he's also, we didn't draft him to be a starter, right? Like
Exactly.
we drafted him on our bench. So we're already assuming we're not using him week one. It's just gravy if he hits.
That to me was
like
like
an 80-yard TD.
Yeah.
We're gonna be like, oh,
Reed would have been a take as well, though. I should mention.
that to me was what got me.
Reed
onto
would have
it.
also been a take a peek. That's a great point.
Oh, that's
Keep
He
trying
just
to come up
throws in there.
keep trying to justify it. No, you're not. I fucking love Xavier Worthy, but
Well,
I
so
think
the one thing Pat said about on this build, we just took Keenan out. Like
Yeah.
Worthy together would have been really fun, but we kind of got our read with Keenan Allen is sort of like the thing that swayed me.
Right.
Zay Flowers and CeeDee Lamb and these other
The biggest possible swing. Like who's the biggest possible swing right now? And I think he's a bigger swing. I don't think maybe it's unfair to Reed in some ways, but
it might be unfair to read. Pete made a compelling
he's
case.
He's the fastest wide receiver ever. He's a first round pick and he's on the Chiefs. That's
They
a pretty
both-
big swing.
They both have really good upside, but Reed does have a much higher floor, right?
You got me with that.
Yeah.
He plays with Patrick Mahomes and he's the fastest player of all time.
How about that? Is that a big swing? Does that
Seems
count?
good. Seems good. Throw it
But
over
it-
them mountains. I'll go run and get it.
It kind of goes back to the Andrews Pitts discussion we were having of like Andrews has the higher floor and the high ceiling, and Pitts also has a very high ceiling, but a much less secure floor. And I feel like that's probably similar to the Worthy Reed dynamic where we've already seen Reed be really good. Like if you got Reed's last season right here at wide receiver 37, it's not even a small win at this point. It's a big win. You got like 14 spots of wide receiver value if he just repeats what he did as a rookie.
Eli.
So,
Thank
Eli-
you.
literally
for
on
checking
stream
the
with
notes.
Badge Bros yesterday, we were drafting a team and we were in the late 5th. And I wanted to take Reed and they wanted to take Worthy. So I had to do this exact same song and dance and then be like, no, I'm really in on Worthy. He's going to fucking melt faces this year. So it's just the same thing.
Pete Steve Buscemi dressed like a high schooler, trying to act like he likes Worthy.
Well, Pete's like, I'm the only one who learned anything from Sky Moore, and I'm trying to get everyone else to pay attention. But no, it's more fun to draft Xavier Worthy.
I'm having to pound the table on build up the bear case against the guy I was drafting in every single big board draft because I said
I was gonna say
Fast litter.
you definitely
You
were getting me more
Yeah.
bullish on Worthy in the big board. You're part of the reason I have
there's
so
some
much.
good quotes from like February where Pete's like, this guy's going in the first round. Why are we not drafting him higher? He's going in the first round. I felt like every ship chasing stream, you were like, Worthy should be going higher. You got me on Worthy early too.
I got
You
you
got
guys
me on
all
Worthy as well.
hyped up on him that you wanted him over Jade Reed here.
That's
And
right.
then the Chiefs traded up for him in the first round, and now you're like, I'm out.
Yeah,
on
be
Worthy.
careful what you wish for, man.
Pat, Patrick Mahomes' team traded up to draft him. Oh man.
He had the boulder nearly up the cliff just for it to roll back down. All right, let's recap this team here. So we have CeeDee Lamb, Devon Achane, Mark Andrews, and then we start pissing Zay Flowers, T. Higgins, Keenan Allen, and Xavier Worthy. I mean, this is kind of how we thought this would play out. You get that running back tight end, and now we were going to like a lot of these wide receiver picks here.
How are you feeling about it, Dricka?
I think we started pretty good.
Your
We've got
vocal
5 tight
tones
ends
otherwise.
through 7. 5 tight ends, 5 receivers through 7. And we got the elite running back, the elite tight end. That's pretty
We're in a good spot. We got a lot of good paths from here for sure.
Another quarterback out in adding Keenan, which is nice too.
That's true. That's true. And he was very late. Yeah, it's a good call.
All right, there's
Chase
our
Brown, 805. Let's
Wow.
go.
Get your
our
guys.
leg up sub, Jaylen Warren and Chase Brown there.
Yeah, honestly, that's probably is. I mean, part of the reason I've been taking so much Brown in the 9th is because I kind of feel this steam coming, you know. Although I guess the 8th in here is really the 9th in Underdog. All the running backs moving up.
I think the Zack, just like my pulse on people's sentiment, I think the Zack Moss crew is gonna, Chase Brown's gonna flip him, but I think they're gonna hold the line enough that it doesn't get outrageous.
I've been
Like, I don't
I've been
think they're
getting
gonna-
Zach Moss in like the 110s on Underdog today.
Yeah,
So he's sliding.
I think that's about where he settles, right? I can't
That's probably
imagine-
he probably doesn't go to the 120s.
Yeah, no, he can't. I don't think he can go to the 120s. He'd have to flip like
Quorum and
yeah,
those guys.
Quorum. He's not flipping Quorum.
No,
Yeah.
That's
No,
a
I-
high.
Burrow goes to the Chase drafter in the 8th. I was gonna see if we were gonna discuss him at this turn.
Yeah, he's actually not. I would have preferred Dak just because of the bigger bet on CD. So obviously he would have been nice.
Yeah, so looking at
Man, we have a lot of paths here. Should we start talking, like maybe in the private chat, about what direction we want to go? Because I think you can make a case for several different directions here.
Well,
Yeah.
the wide receiver in the queue to me is hard to pass on. I don't know where you guys are at.
I that's what I was thinking too.
it's kind of like the last. I mean, there's another one, but kind of the last call for a wide receiver.
Yeah. It's just like I just have a hard time not doing that.
Let's
And
see
then
if
I think I'd be
3-4 have a hard
quarterback.
time doing that.
I think we want upside at quarterback given the Lamar double where we don't have Lamar.
So Rome doesn't go.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's who I
Rome
really
goes.
wanted.
It makes our decision easier though. This is going to be a tough one.
Well,
But yeah, our Q. I mean, we
So
got
do
to talk.
we just do QB or
I
Well, we
think
shouldn't do
push,
QB.
We can push QB.
We
like
can push
yeah.
QB.
okay?
So
the Holmes
big-
drafter isn't taking.
I'd be running back.
right, and so Mostert's the faller, and I would love to take Mostert, but we have Achane. We're not taking both of those guys, right?
Oh,
I
yeah.
think it's kind of fine. I think it's
In managed, it's not nearly as
I don't think it's as
fun.
compelling. You're
Yeah,
kind of
it's not
hoping
as
that
compelling.
Mostert gets hurt to open up some Achane stuff.
I kind of think that if you
There's
start
2 ADP followers though.
if you started Achane and Mostert every week that they were both active last season, I think you do pretty well. I think you win your league.
Sure,
Yeah, but in the
I mean,
sprint-
but
in
that's
the
like a very
sprint,
specific outcome.
Oh my
gosh,
oh my
Dak.
god!
Yeah.
What are you doing?
I think Jonathan
What's
Brooks
Dak?
is a pretty.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, I agree with. Brooks,
Yeah,
'cause
I'm
he
fine
has
with
the
Brooks
same
here.
ADP as Mostert,
Yeah,
and doesn't have.
He's
that.
the bigger swing. I mean, I would probably make a case for the guy that I want to draft in every league.
Well, I think we might be able
Well,
to draft.
I think
him.
that's
Okay.
the
All right.
that's yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's do
All
Brooks
right,
here.
let's take Brooks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
He doesn't
yeah.
have a very
You know,
favorable
so to
body.
me, like I'm not worried about the quarterback thing. Dak
We'll be
and
okay.
Burrow
No.
would have been nice, but
We're fine.
We're fine. Yeah.
We'll be all right. Drake Maye. I mean, the screen.
Yeah,
passes
Drake
apparently
Maye
so
is
sick.
still on the board.
Yeah.
Those screen passes. Well, I mean,
Everyone's
that's the other
talking about
thing is like could we talk about
Wait.
Jayden Daniels for the same reason that you made Richardson cases a little bit ago?
Can we talk about who? Jayden Daniels?
Jayden Daniels.
Yes, we can definitely talk about Jayden Daniels. I think that makes a lot of sense.
I was
Would
talking about Javonte Williams, who
Yeah,
I
I'm
love.
I'm good with Javonte here.
You guys
I
can
like
talk me into
Javonte
Jayden
too.
Daniels.
I would do Jayden Daniels actually. I mean, I do think we want some quarterback upside. Give me the
Shocker,
bill.
Pat wants the QB.
I'd be Javonte over Jayden Daniels here.
Okay, all right.
I think
Yeah,
I'm finally back on Pat's side. With
What do you like, Drico? Javonte or Jayden Daniels here? You got some time.
Okay.
The
And I
one thing
kind of
with
like
Daniels-
Jayden in that we did a double stack. We missed on it.
that's how we get it. We do the old DFS move.
we do the
Wait,
DFS move.
Zach's writing a bunch of stuff in the chat.
Actually, I think
Yeah,
I think that's too big a reach. No, I changed my mind. I think we do Javonte.
Yeah, I think it's Javonte.
All right, we got 1 second. Did you get him?
Yeah,
We did.
yeah. I was on board until I saw the ADP. I'm like, it's like, oh.
I realized Zach was being really quiet, and I was hearing all this typing, and there's all these comments in the chat.
I couldn't say the stuff
Yeah.
out loud.
Yeah,
Just to be clear, we're okay with the ADP rate when it's Xavier Worthy, but not Jayden Daniels. I'm just trying to make sure.
Yeah, I think
wanted
one of the things with Daniel,
well, one
like,
of them was bigger than the other.
Daniels has some injury downside, which I think is maybe suppressing his ADP. It's certainly suppressing my enthusiasm a little bit because he seems to just like love getting hit more than anything. But like the games that he plays, I think he'll be very productive. And so, picking up a quarterback off waivers when you need to or whatever, or just having to move on, but getting a dude, finding a guy in season, we'll take a quarterback too. And if we had taken Daniels, so that element of him concerns me so much less in managed, and I think his weekly ceiling is huge.
So Jordan
to the point
Jordan
of the
Addison
reach,
was the other wide receiver that I was looking at too. That goes.
We could have done Addison.
Yeah,
too.
Addison. I thought maybe we could get him to slide because ADP was later and people would be worried about the suspension stuff. But I've been gobbling him up lately. I feel like he's really nice.
The suspension
Also-
stuff actually looks pretty.
BTJ is also not gone.
Yeah,
Right. He goes so late on FFPC.
It's weird, but like, yeah, I mean, I'm in on Addison too. I think both those guys are in the same group, but it is weird. I didn't know whether to say something about those two. Or
But
not.
TJ Hawkinson feels a lot worse in managed, where you
Oh.
have to use the.
Oh,
full
yeah.
roster
Yeah, a
spot.
lot
It's a
worse.
clogger, an
Yeah,
awful clogger.
yeah, it's a lot worse.
I mean, it could
Yeah,
just
that feels
be
really
could
bad.
just be someone having the hopium of he's actually the news is
Right.
he's so ahead of schedule. He's going to be back week 1. Like,
And maybe he's thinking, okay, I'm so behind here. I need something
Yeah.
at tight end.
Yeah,
I'm going to
big
take
cut.
a bunch of these guys.
So Pat, the thing about Daniels, and I don't want to talk about him too much, is like Drico's last comment was the reach thing. Like the only two teams that have not taken a QB are on this side of the board. If they don't take him right here at this turn, and we'll assume they're not listening. There's a possibility that none of these other guys on the way back takes him as their QB2. We would only be getting him about 9 picks after his ADP, which wouldn't be that big of a fall for a quarterback. I think it's possible that he comes all the way back.
Yeah, no, I mean that's a good reason to pass on him and grab the running back because I think running backs dry. I mean, we know running back dries up quick. Like it dries up really quick here. So, and Jonathan Brooks is an awesome RB2.
Chris,
For
Not
Team
so
12
nice.
is not listening. Team 12 is not listening in the chat.
people want an update on Team 12. They started Gibbs, Barkley, Jacobs, Rashad White. They went and grabbed Chris Godwin instead of taking David Montgomery first, which they should have. Then they come back, they grab Jamison Williams and Dallas Goedert, and they're now on the clock here.
A
all
pretty
right,
early
Pat, call your
Jameson
shot. Who are
Williams
they
pick.
picking?
Yeah.
Jordan
No,
Love.
Okay, hang
Jordan Love. So Love would have been a really fun pick if you guys had
on.
listed a Pete.
Romeo Dobbs.
No,
He's a
that's
stacker. All right.
Wow.
Oh, he's a stacker.
Wow. He got almost nothing at wide receiver.
He's taking Dante,
But it is
Wicks if he
stacked.
comes back. He took Dobbs over Wicks. This guy does not know ball.
He read the Packers family night.
Yeah, apparently,
snap count.
LaFleur doesn't know ball either, I guess. Yeah.
He was there in person for Packers family night. Josh Jacobs, Jordan Love, Romeo Dobbs.
That's right.
Somebody in the chat said Zeke's going to be staring you right in the face when you're back up, and I'm confident no one in this room is going to mention
No.
Zeke.
I don't think so.
That's a best ball kind of pick. That is not a man.
That's a
pick.
big time best ball pick.
It's also the place I would entertain it on the main event is where we literally have 0 running backs at this point, and it's like, all right, we got to start
We're
Zeke
good.
week 1.
I mean, Javonte and Achane is great.
We're set.
And then Brooks comes along. Like,
Our running, this is like one of the best running back rooms we'll have on FFPC
all
this
year, yeah.
Where did Brooks go in our slow main? I should look that up.
I
This
think
was before the
I think he went like right before we took Rome or something like that in the 8th. I could be wrong.
Yeah. Because that already feels like ages ago.
Man, Rome in the 8th would have been so nice.
Would have been really fun.
Wow, Benson still he's been falling like a rock in underdog drafts. So Xavier Worthy in our went to our guy Gormanji in our slow main at 7-4. We got Rome at 8-7.
That's wild.
So he goes 8-9 here.
As we grab JSN right exactly where JSN went in this draft, and then Rome came back. Yeah.
And
Kyle,
I'm
with Kyle in the chat who said this team would be so sick with Kincaid. I'm just reading Dalton Kincaid there.
God, could you imagine Dalton Kincaid scoring 11.5 points in tight end premium every week on this team? It'd be incredible.
My God, Josh Allen must be a massive bust in that scenario because I don't know who's scoring points for that team.
But
Jimbo.
I get Liam.
Jimbo,
I
baby.
get Liam cheerleader equity for those 11.5 points and how they're actually like worth 20 points somehow.
Josh Palmer. That is wild. One of the things I like about how we've done this is we've actually like kept a lot of roster flexibility as well. But like we got the early running back, and then we've taken 2 in that kind of middle tier. So we're feeling really comfortable, I think.
We got another second tight end team. The Hawkinson drafter goes Schultz. Chubb comes off the board here. Yeah, so we got CeeDee, Achane, Andrews, Zay, T. Higgins, Keenan, Xavier Worthy, and then we grab a couple of running backs here, Brooks and Javonte. Musgrave comes off the board, and we are...
This is the range. I mean, I like Musgrave, but this is the range where if you have not played tight end early, this is you're paying a lot for some of these tight ends relative to the running backs and receivers here. Compared to what we played, I'm much happier with Andrews, even though I'm not that into it in the 3rd than some of these guys in 9 and 10, right? Like Hawkinson in 9, Fryermuth in 9, like Schultz in 10. That's a tough pick compared to the elite end upside.
Jerome Ford goes.
What position are you guys kind of dialing on a running back as the other pick?
Right. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Even though you guys wanted to fucking talk about Jayden Daniels for the entire fucking draft. Ever streamed before? Have you ever streamed a draft before?
I was trying to talk about windmilling him, right?
I was getting triggered by you guys going back to Daniels over and over.
Sorry.
Literally talk about your kid's dance recital. Anything other than Jayden Daniels.
I come back to the chat and it's like let's swerve Daniels convo. No more talking Daniels. Only 2 other teams out of QB. And then Pete's like, stop, no more. And then Draco's like, please stop, because I was the one who kept bringing it back up.
We'd all moved on, and you're like, I just want to go back to one point
let's
that
go
we
back
haven't
to
talked
Jayden
about.
Daniels real quick. He might come back to us. Sorry.
All right, so we're back
already
up.
back.
Zeke, J.K. Dobbins go here. Still running back range for sure.
Yeah.
I like Charbonnet. I like Dowdle.
I think
I
on
think
this team I prefer Sharbs, just like take the big cut.
Really, I prefer Dowdle because I think we'll figure it out quicker.
Well, the CeeDee thing is a good call. I'm open to either. I mean, I like building out that team bet on.
Because Charbonnet, so much of it is the contingent value. Like he's got standalone, but it's also the contingent value. And so we might just have to sit with him for a long time. And with Dowdle, like if it's really gross early and it's just like
I think I'm strongly Sharps here.
I'm pretty Sharps too. Draco's not strongly anything ever.
All right, let's do Sharps.
All right.
Sharps is good with me.
That was came in off the top rope, Draco. I like that.
Draco, by the way, just for those of you that haven't drafted dozens of BBT teams with Draco is just strongly opposed to Dowdle or any Cowboys running back. Draco is strongly opposed.
I think we're taking a bunch of Dowdle.
I wrote an article up on Dowdle, and I mentioned that we didn't have his rush yards over expected, and then I was messaged his rush yards over expected. I got it. They're -9.
Small sample.
Actually, -9 is like right in line with Ty Chandler, Jerome Ford, someone else. It's like mediocre. It's not terrible. The bad backs are like -100.
He's at expectations. Basically.
Yeah, he was just under expectations. 37% success rate, also kind of like not good, but not like horrendous.
Yeah.
He has a 1.3 yards per hour in last year, which is actually pretty solid for running back. So it didn't really change it made me feel like a little bit like less like, okay, this guy isn't like horrendous. It's not bullish, but it's just like, if you're betting on this guy, at least you didn't find out that like he was the worst running back in the league last year.
Strong encouragement.
Yeah, exactly. but Draco, we're betting against Zeke, my man. Zeke.
Yeah, I like the information point that Sacrilegious brought up, and we took Rico on the slow main, and part of that selling point was that as well. I do think though, like this team, like our running back firepower, I feel so good. I guess Rico pairs well with Jonathan Brooks. You know,
I actually think Rico is the bigger swing.
Yeah, he's definitely the bigger swing, right?
Yeah,
because he also can just be nothing. Like it's just Zeke, and then
right. You can strike out immediately.
It's such a disgusting committee. It's like, oh my god, Royce Freeman is getting touches. What?
Yeah,
and then you cut him. But with Charbonnet, there's no universe where we cut Charbonnet in like the first 4 weeks without him being injured. You know, like
no, you can't cut him.
Right? Yeah,
he has to get hurt for us to, or we just have to be in real trouble somewhere else.
But I also think there are some of those, not quite to the extent of the wide openness with Dallas, but there are some of those fun outcomes where this new coaching staff really likes Charbonnet and have a bigger role for him. I know Kenneth Walker is the talk of the town right now in Seattle, but I still think those outcomes are there where it's like, holy cow, this is like a 50-50 backfield, and Zach Charbonnet is getting the high value touches like at the goal line, and you're like, holy cow, I did not see that coming at this price.
I was pretty in on that narrative, but there was reports out of Seahawks camp that they're like, oh, this dude Walker can play.
No, yeah, they really like Walker.
Yeah. So yeah, I think we're back to where we were last year, where he's kind of like the contingency guy where you're hoping he earns more over the course of the year.
But do you know what's funny is it could be like the thing in Cincinnati, right? Like Cincinnati saying like, holy cow, Chase Brown's electric. Like he's going to play. And then they're like, could still just bring in Zach Moss on pass downs and at the goal line. Like that can still happen.
That can still happen. You're right.
With Charbonnet, where they're like, dude, we just got to get, let Kenneth Walker cook. But then when like push comes to shove in some of those spots, they feel more comfortable with Sharps.
I could definitely see that.
That's kind of how it worked throughout the year last year, right? Where Walker was the starter to start, but then as the year went on, they started giving Sharps more and more of those high value touches. So it could work out like that again.
And I think
that's Kenneth the most likely way for it to work out.
Yeah. Kenneth Walker's had really bad success rates both years, and like that to me, the thing I think about with success rate is that like it wears on coaches. Like if you can't consistently do what you're asked to do, it just becomes like more and more of a reason to like let someone else get a crack. And Charbonnet had pretty consistent rushing style last season and is the bigger back, and it's kind of his deal. He's like the solid chunk play runner. So I think that's pretty realistic that over the course of the year, they're seeing fewer of those explosive runs and more of him getting stuffed at the line on a play they really needed him not to get stuffed at the line, and that gets Charbonnet on the field more.
One other thing I've just noticed, so Jayden Daniels does have that week 14 bye as well, is like the draft too early to think about who the second QB is? Or do we just let that roll and figure it out?
To not discuss it too much right now.
Yeah, Caleb goes. Yeah, I think we can. I'm not worried about quarterback. We've done so many teams like this in FFPC, right? Where you take the crack and then it's just like you can always figure it out.
Right.
Figure it out later.
We got to scroll down.
Right.
Image down.
And to be fair, week 14 is the most amount of time we can have to figure it out. Like if it was a week 5 bye, that would be much more pressing.
True.
Yeah. Yep. Man, yeah, all these week 14 buys.
Man, I wish I knew ball as well as our chat. We got some people that are saying Sharp is good at football. Some that are saying Sharp is DJ Dallas. I mean, some that are saying Sharp's got no work in December. It's like there's a lot of
like there's a reason he's an 11th round pick and not a 2nd round pick.
Yeah.
Where we all have this clarity about his role and his talent.
Sharp's is polarizing though. He's like, I get YouTube comments when we talk about him and like, yeah, am I on an island here? I thought Sharps was ass. People really dislike him, or they were like really into him.
I think most people don't even have an opinion on him, to be honest with you.
Really?
It's like, well, it's like
I've heard more opinions about him than I thought I would.
Right, I know. It leads to these extreme stances. It seems like because it's like the most in extreme player. Like it's just like he's a big back that can play on pass downs. So like you like size and 3-down ability. We haven't seen a lot from him. We don't know a lot about his profile. Played under Chip Kelly. It's like how much was the scheme, all that stuff. I don't know. It's a who knows. You just don't know. You just don't know.
Think you have the correct take because he was like in all of my rookie stuff. He was very much like yeah, it could be.
Could be.
Could be.
You just don't know.
Yeah. He was like very much like a 2nd round rookie pick. Like you should definitely draft this guy in the 2nd round. He could be good. He might not be anything. He could be pretty sweet though. So just take him and then see.
Yeah.
It is really nice where we got 3 of our 4 running backs here, rounds 8 through 11, because we kind of see the classic, FFPC run here. This is like a difference between, the underdog stuff where the running backs will like stretch. Like Ray Davis will be like 2 rounds later than, Zach Charbonnet or 3. And it's like Dobbins and Zeke we went Sharps. Then it was Lloyd, Chandler, Rico, Algier, Jalen Wright, Chuba Hubbard, McLaughlin, Ray Davis. Like they're flying off the board.
Right. FFPC will just blow true tiers. Where like when people get worried about a position, they'll just keep taking them.
Yeah,
Rico, I got a question for you in the private chat.
Yeah. I give me 1 second.
Now we see Antonio Gibson. So yeah, they're just getting chewed up.
Yep. I mean that screen passes were pretty good.
He did look good on the screen.
Yeah, I actually saw it on Twitter. I checked it during the show.
He's quick. He knew where he needed to get. He
Yeah.
executed the play.
I'm drafting him.
The other quarter, the Caleb Williams drafter took Lawrence Brock's off the board. Now Bucky. I mean, everybody.
That was
Draco said.
Was the last of the tier for me at running back. I was hoping Bucky made it back.
You're trying to add to your 40% Bucky Irving.
That's right. I was doing the Mark Andrews thing. I was like, I want him in everything. And I'm a UW guy. That guy went to Oregon. I should hate him, but I don't understand the Bucky.
I know Sack's not in control of the queue. I can guarantee that. Ben,
so we're on the clock.
Aren't you delighted here? Isn't there a running back you want?
I don't know who you're talking about.
Do you not?
Crazy?
I don't see any
Kendrick
running
Miller?
backs.
No.
This isn't a running back pick.
I think it's the two
No, I
guys
don't
in the
think so.
queue. I would be Judy.
Okay.
Oh,
I mean, Judy is like he's been so banged up.
I refuse. I refuse to do it again this year. I held my tongue last year.
I would love some shares of Wicks.
Wicks sounds great.
Did we take Wicks Judy in our main last year?
We did, and I held my tongue.
Oh God,
why you hate him?
This is not like
why.
a
That's
decent
one of
ADP
many.
value on Wicks too.
Yes, it's a good thing.
Take Wicks. What sounds great? Yeah,
take Wicks, but I want to hear about sacrilegious PTSD on Judy.
It was one of my first streams on ship chasing, and everyone else was so into Judy, and I was just like, I'm not gonna rock the boat. I'm gonna go along with it. I think my exact words were, "Judy's fine," and and the rest is history.
Oh no, Pat, were you talking about Estimate or Tyrone Tracy? Estimate. We have Javonte.
Estimate.
We could take.
This is really
you're right. We have Javonte. My bad. What about Jaylen Polk?
What about a Polk? I was gonna say.
Yeah, let's do Polk. Let's hammer Polk here.
Wait, did AD Mitchell go?
I'm Polk over
Mitchell. Mitchell is there, but
I think Polk's probably better for
as a weekend startable guy.
Yeah.
Do we want no interest in Conklin?
We just took Wicks. You guys really want to go wide receiver 7?
These are upside swings at receiver, but
I think we want to keep. I mean, I feel like our running back room is great. I'm compelled by the tight end thing, but I still think I lean Polk.
Okay.
I'm Polk, and I think I'll put the other stuff in the chat.
That would be a running back here, but
Polk is fine.
I honestly forgot we had Javonte for the rest. I was just like waiting for you to start pounding the table for Estimate.
Yeah, he's next up on my list.
We beat Braylon Allen to ourselves. Remember when we took Brees?
That's right.
I think it's. I mean, I get it if we had like a 0 RB build, but with our anchor in these 3 to then be passing on this caliber a wide receiver for these running back darts just feels bad to me.
I agree.
Right. It does feel like very much in the bottomless section of the running backs. Where they're just all awful.
My disagreement. My disagreement there would be twofold. I think Tyrone Tracy's. I said Bucky was the last of a tier. I think you can make the case that Tracy should belong somewhat in that same tier. But also, is the class of bet that Polk is it's kind of funny because when we were first talking about it in the offseason, I was like, this is my favorite dude watching him at UW. But you guys are all way higher on Polk than I am. It's about all I got for you.
I mean,
why don't you?
Can you at least admit, like, next to these wide receivers, like, you know, the class of wide receiver here is better than the running backs?
Yes. Yeah, that's fair. I think I would have been Josh Downs, even with his high ankle sprain, because I saw that tweet from, I can't remember his name from Fantasy Points. Why is it evading me right now?
That he won't miss that many games and his return to effect.
The 80% of the high ankle sprains are tight.
Edwin Porras is you mean.
Edwin Porras is who I'm trying to talk about. Who's awesome. Sorry, Edwin, if you're watching, but he's incredible. That 80% of the high ankle sprains actually aren't these long lingering things. It's only the 20%, and we all think they're really, really bad. The Downs could actually be back.
I have a lot of Downs.
I have both Downs and Mitchell ahead of Polk, but I mean, Polk's in the same group, like for sure.
But as far as like the redraft stuff, I mean, Polk's whole this whole thing's very funny because when they drafted Polk after they drafted Maye, obviously I was like, God damn it, why didn't you draft AD Mitchell? That would have been so much more fun, such a higher ceiling. Mm-hmm. But Polk's whole deal is that he's ready to go day one. He's a professional. He makes the tough catches over the middle. You know, and I think from a PPR, we can plug this guy. He's ready to be started kind of thing. Like, I feel pretty good about Polk getting there quickly and then us feeling like, yeah, we're ready to start Polk. The ultimate ceiling is higher for Mitchell, I think. But even in those cases where he's really hit his ceiling, he's going to be more of a downfield threat, a little bit more spiky. You know, Polk could be kind of that, like, really solid PPR guy who plays on the outside. And then you get the correlated upside, potentially, maybe not on this team, but you know, you get if Maye also, even if you don't have Maye, the fact that Maye down the stretch could be coming into his own gives additional upside to a rookie wide receiver.
Yeah, I mean, I guess my only thought on Polk is from a prospect standpoint, when I got into the numbers and stuff, dug into the TPRR, all that kind of stuff, the thing that I've always felt at receivers, it's about down-to-down consistency. And I don't know that Polk was ever really that guy. He makes a lot of incredible plays. But the thing that I always thought was the difference between people who looked at the the data and the age-adjusted production versus like watching film was that the film guys would often be captured by highlights and really good traits and things that would show up in flashes, but it was the ability to consistently win on your routes the entire time, every single down, that made the prospects good. And I always go back to Josh Doxson for whatever reason. When I was young as a writer, that he was like this highlight reel guy, and then Washington took him, and that was like all the film guys loved Josh Doxson, and then
Dotson, right? Dotson.
It was
Doxson. It was Doxson. You're right.
Yeah. Right. And anyway, he ended up being a guy who couldn't consistently earn volume at the NFL level, right? And so it's this ability to like the type of stuff that keeps like Deontay Johnson underrated. It's not what you do on the top 20% of your snaps, it's what you do on the bottom 20% of your snaps. Like, are you constantly open so that, you know, when the quarterback does come back to you in an unexpected way, you get that extra target. Those couple extra targets every game that come your way. And Polk wasn't that dude. He was the dude that made sick plays. It was so fun to watch. Having watched them, you know, all their games, UW, you know, all through college. Well, I didn't watch all of Polk. Polk transferred, but I saw him the last couple of years. Having watched them, like, he was not like the most consistent or reliable dude at times. And so, I mean, maybe it's just like pattern matching too much on my part. I do like, I recuse myself somewhat with these UW guys because I'm too close to it. Like, I think it's really hard to have an objective view when you like also
You've
are
been
a
rooting
fan.
for him.
Yeah, I'm a huge Polk fanboy. And so then I might be over adjusting the bias element of it. Like, afraid that I'm going to pull a John Ross, who I was way too high on, probably, right? Like, I've done this before with the Huskies.
Yeah, I mean, the data stuff is not that strong on Polk. He's a 4-year player. He never had a breakout season. His yards per out run at the end was okay, but it wasn't great. 25% dominated rating to close out, which is like fine, but not very good for a rookie. I was encouraged by like some of the tape stuff, which, to your point, maybe the tape stuff is overrating some of the highlights. But kind of Rogers compared him to Chris Godwin, talking about his ability to go over the middle and kind of win the dirty work stuff. And just kind of like, he's like, I'm wondering if he can be kind of like Jacoby Myers, basically, you know?
He's not that player.
Okay.
He's like the AJ Brown mold. He's this big physical outside receiver that has a high ADOT and like
Harmon compared him to Robert Woods.
Okay. I could see that. He's maybe not as big as AJ Brown. I mean, that's like an aggressive comp for anyone.
Yeah, that's interesting because I hope he's more. I want him to be Robert Woods, actually, because if he's AJ Brown, I have all of your concerns.
Right. That's my concern.
He's bad if he's AJ Brown because he's not AJ Brown.
And I don't even think the film people are wrong. They're not projecting fantasy football. They're projecting, can he go make plays and win in big spots, you know, and make tough contested catches. And I think he can do all those things. But in fantasy, there's a little bit of a different thing where we want statistical peak. We want consistency,
right,
down to down, like down to those bottom 20% of the routes that I was talking about. Like, that's the part where I struggle with Polk's ultimate upside.
I also struggle with his ultimate upside, but I basically like, can he be the clear number one in a situation that so desperately needs one? You know, like this Patriots offense so desperately needs someone to consolidate targets. Could this guy have a career year as a rookie? Like, that's kind of the profile.
That's
that
fair. They need somebody for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, he could come out and, I mean, if someone's going to be like the Puka Nacua, like, it's going to be a situation where they need somebody to go do that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Maybe he has some untapped ceiling that like Roma Dunze was masking, right? Like, maybe there's some stuff that like he had to be the whatever, for lack of a better term, the beta, because there was this real alpha and they're both studs. I mean, that's possible.
He's a guy for me that like I've faded dudes kind of like this over the course of, playing Dynasty, where I'm like, that guy's never going to hit the massive ceiling. And then he immediately starts producing and everyone's like, I'll give you a first and a second. I'm like, I couldn't have just taken him and gotten a first and a second. That seems great. Why didn't I do that? You know?
Well,
kind of like your Marquise Browns or something, you know, like that sort of like, he's never going to be a superstar.
The thing about Polk for and this is where the chat has like best ball brain. I think right now there's like this talking about the Myers stuff. The information you are going to get on Ja'Lynn Polk, like you're going to get like these two waves. Like we're first going to see right out of the gate. Is he playing 100% of the snaps? Is he in 2 wide receiver sets? Is he earning targets? Maybe the offense looks like dog shit, but then you can say, all right, that part's good. Now let's get Drake Maye in there. Let's open up the offense. Let's see what the second version of this looks. If Polk is buried early on and not on the field, then you just cut him. You know, you made a bad 13th round pick. With a pick like Jacoby Myers, like you're never going to know when to start him. He's now has another massive target earner in the offense. You basically need an injury to get information to feel good about starting Jacoby Myers every week. If Polk is that guy, you will feel fine plugging him in through the bye weeks, through injuries.
Yeah, and honestly, couldn't agree with that more. Could not agree with that more. I appreciate that you said the chat is confusing that, because I'm out on Polk, but I don't want to be lumped in with that. I couldn't.
No. I was talking about with the framing it with the Myers, because they don't. You have to think through like when.
I'm okay with the Polk pick
guys
for the reasons you just said. We're going to learn. Like I have a player take, but I'm okay with the pick. I wasn't pounding the table not to take him or anything, right? Like it's we'll find out.
We'll find out.
We're running out of running backs. We got 4. We might be done at 4, guys. Like that was the other reason I was like Tracy might be the last interesting dude. I mean, maybe you guys got some interesting.
I have a name.
I've got a name.
We always got names.
I mean, there's always names, but are they good names? Fields went.
We are
Fields went to
kind of true. Get your guy. Yeah.
The 12th
third quarterback.
Fields.
I think we have a clear first pick here.
He has 4 receivers and 3 quarterbacks.
So we'll see what this team has. Komet, Henry. This is the Dak Prescott team. Yeah, running back got wiped. You're down to the Alexander Madisons of the world.
Right.
Gabe Davis goes.
I feel very good about Noah Fant. You guys good?
Yeah.
About Noah Fant.
That's a great outcome. To push tight end do that long and get Noah Fant there.
That's big.
Yeah. His foot is fine, by the way.
I saw that today, yeah. Yep, we now have 100% exposure to Noah Fant through 2 drafts. We got him at 14-7.
That's just correct process. We've just the discount on Noah Fant here compared to Underdog is so strange to me. If you took Underdog in the 14th, if you took Noah Fant in the 14th round on Underdog, no one would bat an eye. No one would blink, and no one would bat an eye. That's how unridiculous it would be. Yeah, all the eyes would be open. I really don't understand why. Why is he not more expensive here?
No, but we can finish 100% if he's going to go in the 14th the whole time. Like, I'm fine
we just smash him in the 14th every time. What about Will Shipley?
Yeah, that was my name.
That's my last of the tier.
I love Will Shipley, so
I think that's a good pick. So we're doing it.
Yep.
Is there? I mean,
I don't know why that.
You know,
so we're doing it.
You know who we?
Yes.
Okay. Let's do it.
Did you have another name?
Well, the other Husky receiver could be an option.
Oh yeah, but I think I was kind of where your head was at, where the running back's basically gone. Yeah,
take Shipley. Yeah. We should take Shipley. Agreed.
Because it is in that section of the draft where it's like your opportunity cost is very, very low. We see him as a loss in that tier. He has had the great camp, and you probably will get some good information early. Like what is the snap share on week 1 is important information.
Yeah,
this stuff here, what is the point? You take Mahomes and then you take Stafford and Watson. What is the goal? What are you hoping happens? I just want to know.
I'll tell you, Pat.
What are you hoping happens?
To not have to labor over who to cut after week 2.
I just want to know. I just want to know.
He's going to need the roster spots, though, with Jerry Jeudy being his wide receiver 2 or 3.
I mean, very clearly, it's Mahomes is who you need week 1 in the sprint. Deshaun Watson and Jerry Jeudy is who you need week 2 in the sprint. And naked Matthew Stafford is who you need in week 17 for all the money.
Naked Matthew Stafford is
That is a pick.
Ooh,
That's the pick.
Chat said the all free look squad. We got a Will Shipley take a peek. What if he goes for an 80-yard
Hey.
TD? Ooh.
And Wicks. Yeah.
And Wiggs.
Oh my goodness. We're such scoundrels.
You
We're just
guys.
idiots. Take a peek edge.
I cannot wait to watch these games in Vegas with you guys and be like, ooh, who we gonna start? Who we gonna start?
Can we get We're Such Scoundrels in the stat chasing intro, please?
I already know, like, one of my moves, like, I feel like a classic Vegas move for me as a player I like that's more of a, on the periphery, like a Will Shipley, like we'll catch a pass like early on and I'll just like start doing like a really hard victory lap.
Yeah.
It's like fucking massive.
And then he's got the beer in his hand. He puts his head down and he just starts stomping.
I
told you guys. I told you guys.
No carries.
I can't wait for Vegas.
It was just a usage thing. You guys saw. You guys saw what he could do. You saw what he could do.
All right, so we're through round 15. I'll do a little recap again. We got our one tight end, Mark Andrews. We got our one quarterback, Jayden Daniels. We got our 5 running backs now. Achane anchoring this along with Jonathan Brooks, Javonte Williams, Zach Charbonnet, Will Shipley. And then we are up to, what do we got? 7 wide receivers here. CeeDee Lamb, Zay Flowers, T. Higgins, Keenan Allen, Xavier Worthy, Dontavian Wicks, and Ja'Lynn Polk. I mean, this is a great team.
It's a great team.
That's a very good
team. The Jayden Daniels, I mean, pushing him and then getting him, it really made the team.
It
really tied the team together.
And we needed them there because, like, on the last we were taking Caleb Williams at one of those picks, we were just screwed because, like, obviously Caleb Williams went at the before our next turn.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we could have taken another running back there, and then we double tap Komet and Caleb. But do we do that? Right?
I don't think.
Oh no, we did. You're right. We couldn't even done. We'd have had to take Caleb in the 11th.
Yeah,
right.
We had the same turn. QB at that turn. Yep.
Yeah, that would have been terrible. No, what? Not QB, tight end QB. We could have gone Komet Caleb at that very turn, but we got Daniels.
Right, Komet Caleb. Yeah, we got Daniels.
Yeah, I was thinking it was the turn after, but it was that turn, which, I mean, it's just a huge.
And getting Sharps there was pretty big. Whether it was Sharps or Dowdle, it was a big running back pick there because by the time we were back up, like the Bucky Irving and Kamani Vidal had gone.
Yeah,
we were out,
dude. So who was the one after Vidal? So going from Sharps to Kendre. That's the cliff.
Yeah. Or Tyrone Tracy was the one, but yeah, it was a cliff.
Yeah.
I love that Tyrone Tracy had one good run tonight, and Davis immediately tweeted out like, "This guy has 167 career rushing attempts, and like, look how good he looks." And it's like he's just like running for like 8 yards. I actually I watched the clip like 4 times because he said it, and I was like, I'm looking for something, and I was like, I actually think that was kind of a bad run because you like get hit in the thigh, and you want to get low and all this stuff. I was like, oh, it was pretty good.
Just so we don't get totally surprised. Do you guys have any kicker and defensive takes in your back pocket?
No.
0% of my mental real estate allocated towards kicker and defense.
Can I pitch you guys on a take that I was trying to get Pat Pete on and I got 0 response?
Not if it's someone you want us to actually draft. I just was saying let's be mentally prepared that those are positions we will eventually have to draft tonight.
No, I hadn't been until now, and this isn't a specific answer to that to a specific pick, but it's this idea that the Week 14 buys, there's 6 teams. Because it's the last week of the league playoffs, you can already clinch up a spot in the sprint, but it's also after the last waiver run. And typically speaking, you would pick up a second DST or a second kicker heading into the sprint. And so you're all like, you never actually have to allocate another roster spot to another kicker or a DST, or, well, particularly kicker is what I was talking about because the DST thing's more matchup based. But if you have a Week 14 kicker, you just play them for 13 weeks, and then you pick up that second kicker for the sprint and play them in Week 14 if you're in your league final, and then you have your 2 kickers for the sprint that you're always going to probably have. And it's like a lack of a headache is sort of the idea.
Yep.
It's a unique.
I did have one talk about kicker. So every time I do a draft, my wife asks me, "Hey, you didn't take that misogynist Chiefs kicker, did you?" And I'm like, he's not even eligible to take him. So tonight I want to tell her, yeah, I fucking took him.
That's not where I thought that story was going.
Dude, Rico opened up the stream with his good news.
Having a kid.
I'm taking the misogynist.
And now he wants to tell his wife to get back in the kitchen. Jason in the chat said, "What the F is Gretsch talking about?" I lost track halfway through. I don't know.
Drika.
No. So there was silence with that point, but not because I didn't agree with it or wasn't paying attention. Gretsch just so thoroughly convinced me I didn't respond. You're saying we can take a guy and then never think about kicker or defense ever again. Yeah. That's amazing. That's amazing. Great. I'm very in.
There's 6 teams that have a bye after the last waiver run. That's weird. That's a weird thing that is happening this year.
Yeah, I'm fully into it. I don't know that I want to prioritize it with a pick, but that's I want to take a kicker and defense from one of those teams.
Yeah, so we have 3 more non-kicker defense picks.
Right. I'm doing a little research over here. Doing a little research. Oldfantasymojo.com.
All right, the Eric Gray steam has hit after his big preseason performance tonight. He goes after Tank Bigsby and Dameon Pierce.
I saw that big. He had one big run where the safety just fell over in front of him, and so he was just gone. I was like, my reaction was that safety's just getting cut. This doesn't help Eric Gray.
Be careful, Drico. Eric Gray Nation is a rabid bunch.
Stephanie's in the chat. She goes, "That is amazing, but you never think about it anyway." I do. And that's very true. This is not our problem.
We're looking out for you, Steph.
Yeah. I'm trying to. This is for you. I was trying to do this for you.
It's still good for the overall team,
Yeah.
So we are seeing our first defenses come off the board. Jets defense, Dallas defense. Jawan Johnson, Greg Dulcich, the tight ends. We saw Jordan Mason come off. I think Jordan Mason was a pretty interesting pick in this range now, too, with all the uncertainty in the San Francisco running back room.
So, Zack, the Dallas defense are an awful pick here, right?
I mean, why are people taking defense at all in the 16th round?
They don't know any more of the players.
Chipsy is really into Eric Gray.
He is the original Eric Gray.
Yeah.
I've never seen a slower preseason run than that. I think Amir Abdullah's long speed was better on that one preseason run in his rookie year. So, I mean, congrats on a guy who could barely outrun a dude straight up the middle. Whew, that looked bad as far as long touchdown runs go.
What do you guys?
We lost Draco, which isn't great because he's our clicker.
Are we comfortable stopping at 5 running backs here?
Yes, it's managed. Yeah,
okay. I think I am in this one.
So, I think we grab Theo here.
I was just gonna say because if Sinnott was one of our last tight end targets, and I think Theo's kind of right there with him now.
Yeah,
I just checked Theo.
I just checked his ADP is 1705 over the last 7 days in the main event. So I think he's a pretty strong pick. He's looking like the tight end one in New York.
The only yeah, let's go for it. I don't even have a. I was gonna say QB, but the guy in the turn has 3 QBs already. Like
yeah.
I think we could consider a QB too.
Well,
Yeah,
no,
let's make the pick because we don't have Draco. Somebody should click it in this.
Oh yeah, do I?
Are we good on?
Quick.
Yeah,
I'll click it.
on
I
the
got it.
sticks.
I just clicked it.
Thank you.
I am back.
Okay.
Right.
You
We
just
gotta
told
check
your
it out.
wife that you're about to put your nuts on the table and draft.
Honey, turn on the stream.
In this house, I make the kicker pick.
He double taps defense. I love this guy.
Oh my god!
That's a Rico. How many times do you think someone will double cap QB and TV? All right, what do we?
I would
I
be
kinda-
May here as the
Drake-
quarterback too.
Drake Maye, yeah.
Drake Maye.
We have Daniels
They
starting
both
week
have,
1, so we're just
They both
it's
have
like
the week 14 bye, right?
they
Yeah,
do.
but
They do both have 14 bye.
We can
but-
figure that out on waivers. We got 14 weeks to figure it out.
Yeah, I guess my only concern is more the roster clogger stuff. But as long as we're okay cutting him, if it like drags on and we need
So-
that roster spot.
I would make a case for like. I mean, I know he's not stacked, but like for like Cousins, who's an ADP
Or
value,
Rodgers.
and like you're covering Daniels a little, or Rodgers. Like what if Daniels isn't good early? Like May is another pure swing. Like, shouldn't we get a vet here?
We can find vets on waivers.
We can get a vet off
probably, so
waivers,
we
yeah.
just-
Well,
we
we're
have
at
big
5
swings.
Texans.
All
You
right,
make
we
the
got
pick, Drake.
May. We got to take May. I was not prepared for a Drake May pick there, but we got legendary upsides, brain trust here. They will fight anyone who is anti Drake May. They will.
You're damn right.
I mean, we just got Jayden Daniels plus in round 17, so the only reason he goes to play is
Plus, there it is.
Yeah, no,
Drake
the
Daniels,
issue-
but
yeah.
he doesn't play in round 17.
No, there are scenarios where it's like, Daniels gets banged up one of the early weeks, and then it's like we can't carry 3 QBs, and we're not dropping Daniels. And we
Or
just gotta cut him.
I mean, this isn't likely, but Justin Fields, like first few starts were all really poor. Like some QBs could just like, what if he just has some really poor starts? We don't want to. What if he just like sucks week 1? We don't want to start him week 2. It'd be nice to have Kirk Cousins like 30 picks behind ADP, but no, we'll just have Drake May. We'll have Jacoby Brissett's backup. That'll be great.
I mean, Jacoby Brissett and Drake Maye played the exact same amount of series in the preseason game, so I think there may still be paths to Drake Maye starting earlier than people think.
Which was the case I made on our like mini-sode when we took him of like, as long as we're not like anchored to like we're holding him for 14 weeks like through hell and high water and he's not on the field, where it's like maybe we bink it and Jared Mayo pulls his head out of his ass and decides he wants to start Drake Maye week 1. That would be an awesome outcome. But just making sure we're not just like locked into him as an anchor on this.
I mean, you're taking it for the bink because that's like that is a correlated outcome with, oh, this guy was good enough to force his way onto the field right away. That's probably pretty good. And then if he doesn't force his way onto the field right away, then you can feel a little more comfortable that you might not be accessing, at least not right away, the highest ceiling outcomes that we think are there for him.
Yeah, I'm excited to cut him. I'm really excited to cut him. It's a good point.
I would say, like, in the first main event that we did, we had Mahomes. And if we're not seeing May out there and he's, it's like week 3 and there's still no May on that team, like let's turn him for a running back. Maybe we've already turned him for a running back. On this team, we have Jayden Daniels. It's an upside swing. He's going to have his growing pains. I don't mind keeping May a little longer. I'm not saying hold him all season, but, you let the thesis play out. And to me, the thesis is he starts around week 5. And then we see what he's got.
But we also
I don't like signing up to a 5-week roster clock.
Yeah,
we might need to turn him before then.
Yeah,
what about my
it
point
just
that
depends on.
What if Daniels has a really poor passing game in week 1 and takes like 7 sacks? Like,
then we're probably cutting May for a veteran.
And the good news is no one is taking more quarterbacks. Like, there's gonna be a veteran. We will not run into a situation where we can't get a veteran here.
Yeah, no, I mean, Gardner Minshew is going to be a great week 2 start when we could have had Kirk Cousins.
I mean, we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8
Daniel
if you count
Jones might
Taysom
be a
Hill.
pretty good week 2 start.
Right. Yeah,
Daniel Jones will probably be available.
We need 8 more quarterbacks to go off the board before we're in trouble on waivers at quarterback.
The only thing that I agree with Ben on a little bit
on
is
the facts and logic.
well, Ben, here I'll side with you. We might also be underselling getting to take a peek at Kirk Cousins and Aaron Rodgers because they are both in completely new environments. We don't know like what those situations are going to look like. We're all jacked about the Falcons. What if they deliver on that right off the rip? Like that stuff is like, oh, you can take a peek at that too and be like, holy cow, that's a windfall. They should have been going 5 rounds earlier.
Yeah,
What's
I don't know.
going on in Atlanta?
I guess I would be. I would be surprised if I'm regretting, like, man, if we'd only take Kirk Cousins. Like I suppose it's possible. Daniels is a bust, and we're just like he would have been a really solid starter for us all year. But you're kind of, to me, when you take May, you're adding to the upside play. It's additional upside that you're adding to the roster. Where Cousins is really covering you if Daniels is a bust.
Well, yeah. I mean, Cousins, Rodgers. I had Geno in the queue as well. Daniel Jones. You don't think any of those guys are? I mean, I think
they're just all probably similar. Yeah, they're just all probably similar enough that the ones that will be remaining on the waiver wire are fine, right? Like we don't have.
But what is Drake Maye's? That's the I mean, again, this goes back to the Polk thing. Like the market has them in the look ahead lines as the lowest scoring offense in the NFL. I do think there's a little bit of the like Stroud pattern matching from last year where he elevated an entire expected bad offense, but the Patriots are probably not that good. When Herbert was good as a rookie, he had like a Keenan Allen, right? Like, I mean, you have to get a lot of things right for this team to suddenly be really good. They're telling you constantly they want to run the ball. They went and hired.
We're not playing in a points per win total league. We don't need this team to be really good. We need Drake Maye to put up
They went and hired an offensive coordinator that got fired for running the ball because they want to be more pass heavy for the Browns. Alex Van Pelt, and now he's with the Patriots. And the Patriots are telling you, Gerard Mayo is telling you, everyone that they're going to be. That's their identity. They want to run the ball.
Yeah.
There's only so many times you can run the ball though down 20.
I agree with that, but the probabilistic stuff, right? Like the ranges for this to really pay off to me, I haven't seen it as clearly as you guys. It's just the way that I would put it.
I see like 8 rushing yards better passing Blake Bortles as an outcome.
It's a quarterback archetype bet, Ben. It's this guy does all the things that score fantasy points outside of being a true dual threat.
Yeah.
Go back,
everything you're looking for other than being like a Lamar Jackson type. Like
go back and watch the Josh Allen college highlights and then go watch the Drake Maye college highlights side by side and put a little piece of tape over the screen that you move around over their name. And,
Josh Allen is a unicorn for sure. The Bortles thing, it was another one that I think Pat and I talked about at one point where I was like, that they had a great defense when Bortles came in. And so they get the ball back for him a lot. He made mistakes and then he got more possessions. Mm-hmm. The Patriots are expected to be bad. And so the win-loss thing matters in that regard too. If your defense is bad too and can't get off the field, but the Jags went to the AFC title game with Bortles. They were so good defensively. That helps your ability.
I think the Patriots defense actually is supposed to be pretty decent, isn't it?
Are they going to be that good?
I don't know. They're going to be great, but I think they don't have a bad defense as far as I know.
I mean, they smoked the Panthers' 4th team tonight. So. It was Sack City, baby.
Carson Wentz is another guy. You don't. The Allen stuff is hard to take seriously because it's fucking Allen. But like, as a prospect, Allen wasn't going to turn into Allen most of the time. But to me, Carson Wentz would be another guy where you're like, this dude ultimately like sucked, but he did some fun stuff before it all came apart.
That's fair. And I mean, Stroud is another good one where it's like, even though you can't have Stroud every year, but when guys hit, they hit in unique ways. It's sort of the point. Like Wentz became Wentz and Stroud became Stroud and Bortles became Bortles. And like May could just be a different dude than I can even conceptualize. Sorry, Pete, what were you going to say?
No, I was just going to say, to me, everything that you guys are talking about to me hinges on how much is Drake Maye rushing. Because to Ben's point, like, I just don't know if the offense is going to allow him to do what Cousins is going to be able to do in Atlanta. So but if he looks on the ground, then you can get there.
Does anybody have any?
We're on the clock.
I mean, if we're super concerned about quarterback, we can take.
No, we're done taking quarterbacks at this point.
We're out there. Let's take a running back, maybe. Flyers?
Are there any? One name I like in the queue. I would love to take a peek at Troy Franklin and just see how the
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm
That's a
down with
pick. That's a pick. Somebody threw a name out. Thank God.
Well, someone put it in the queue, and I was like, I would really like to just see how this preseason plays out for the Broncos.
You're not worried about Vele eating Troy Franklin's line?
Every time I see Vele, I keep thinking it's Velas Jones for some reason, like a nickname for him.
Laube went in the 15th round?
He did.
Yeah.
Shit.
I put some kickers in the queue.
Yeah.
Let's do some fucking kickers.
Yeah.
Clap.
Those guys.
These guys don't have week 14 buys. So
wait, should we go defense before kicker? I don't know why I asked that. I don't have a reason.
The only kicker I put the week 14 buy is Matt Gay for Indy. Do we want that?
I'm not really worried about week 14 buys for kicker and defense. They're very unlikely they're on our roster. We aren't churning by then.
I
like McPherson
I
or
warned
something.
you guys that this
They
moment
show
in the
a lot.
draft would come. I did warn you that we would have to pick a kicker and a defense.
You did warn us.
I think you just take one of them, either of the options.
Yep.
I think you take a
Rico,
kicker
put
or
your
a
nuts on the
defense.
table.
Okay.
Yeah.
You guys
I think
do it
Rico-
on- you
Rico,
guys
take-
do it.
Take Butker. Oh, he's already
What about Houston defense has a week 14 bye.
Fucking Evan McPherson. What the?
God damn it. Henry Muto's in the chat, really upset that we didn't take Jake Elliott. Free, take
Put that on our first team, didn't we?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, probably.
The reason I didn't put Elliott in the queue was because the Hurts sneak stuff takes away a lot of field goals.
Also, the altitude in Brazil. I'm trying to cook up a take here about why Jake Elliott.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's an El Nino year.
And his views just aren't problematic enough for Draco to tell his wife about.
I heard the way that stadium is constructed is it's really apt for like wind gusts like coming through it. There's lots of wind
The
tunnels.
stadium is actually slanted.
Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna give you guys a little preview of what's gonna happen in about 3.5 minutes. We're gonna have to pick a defense. So it'd be great to start thinking about that.
Well, Philly defense, we can take a peek. Okay.
It's good with the chaos that stadium kind of facilitates.
It does.
Yeah.
Well known for chaos. Houston, we don't have to think about it again forever, which is nice.
There you go.
Although we'll probably play matchups and think about it all the time.
Well, yeah, we'll think about it right away.
Think about it immediately. So that's actually
let's look at week 1 matchups. Like, in case we can't take a peek, we'll have this like really great
That's a good idea.
one matchup.
Yeah.
Would have been a better idea before.
We want a target.
Let's figure out who's playing the Patriots because I heard that they're going to score the fewest amount of points.
The Bengals. Bengals are at home.
Honestly, Ben, I love that because I don't think that May wins the job in the offseason. And so I want
the Patriots' early schedule is atrocious.
7 interceptions, maybe 8. Yeah.
All right, I'll give you some fun ones. Bengals at home versus the Patriots.
Ship it.
You got the Giants at home versus the Vikings. If we get some Darnold there, I don't know how the Giants defense is projected to be.
I think the offense you want to target with your defense this year is going to be the Saints with just 0 offensive line. So Panthers are also fun for week 1.
Ooh.
Okay.
Panthers in New Orleans. All right.
Seahawks against Bo Nix's first career start on the road is kind of interesting.
The thing with defenses here, we really do want pass attempts against.
Yeah.
So we want to be thinking about which teams will throw against them.
So the Vikings are that, right? Where they're kind of a
That's actually a perfect one. The Vikings are probably like a perfect team.
Yeah.
On the road. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sam Darnold.
Yeah. That dude loves to throw picks.
And then they play the Commanders in week 2, who's our quarterback, but also might throw picks.
Yeah. All right. I meant to play this, but we were literally
leading the
clock.
Just play it, man. It's such a good clip.
Yeah.
I want to see it.
Yeah. And by kicker chasing, it was just the most ambivalent
kicker chasing our tails.
chasing of kickers we have ever done.
Kicker Chasing. It's the show where we chase the best kickers. The kickers that help you win championships. The biggest legs, the breaking news. It's everything you've come to love and know. The time is now for Kicker Chasing. Let's get some fucking kickers. Oh, yeah! Hey, honey, I just fucking drafted Butker.
The funniest part about that clip to me is when the don't draft this guy sign goes up over his face for like a while, and then it goes so not in unison with it at all.
Back in the days when I used to edit the ship chasing.
That's a fantastic clip.
All right. We're about to enter the 20th round. Everyone's painting the board blue with their defenses.
They don't know about the New York Giants. They don't know about pass attempts against versus the New York Giants in week 1.
What about the Falcons as well? I know they won't get the pass.
Play?
And they
Steelers. Home versus Steelers.
Well, that could be good.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not going to throw a lot, but there might be some sacks.
there can be some sacks.
Turnovers.
Yeah.
Also, they do have the easiest schedule in the league, as Gretsch reminded me this morning.
Yeah, that is interesting. I'm trying to see if there's anyone else.
Saints twice and Panthers twice is pretty nice for the Falcons.
Did Miami go? They get the Jags. The Jags will throw, and Lawrence Lake's interceptions.
Yeah. Miami will play fast enough and score super quick, and then they'll play.
Falcons' first 6 weeks are pretty nice. You get Steelers, Eagles, Chiefs is a little tougher, but you'll get pass volume at least from the Chiefs. Then you get Saints, Bucks, Panthers.
Pitch for the Dolphins would be Jags. Then you get the Bills, who will throw, the Seahawks, who probably should throw, the Titans, who are going to throw a lot more this year. And then you get the Patriots in week 5, Drake Maye's first start, and he's going to blow it.
He's going to blow it. It's
all
all set up for Miami Dolphins DST week 5.
Yeah, that was all of it to get to that point. But I also do think it's a good pick.
I don't have an opinion.
I think I like the Giants.
Let's shake some fucking defenses.
Giants makes a lot of sense.
Good to have a backup in the Dolphins, but I like the Giants too.
Just to let you guys know, so we're going to be doing another one of these next Thursday. We're going to be doing them every Thursday for the next 3 weeks. Next week is with Davis. That'll be at 7 p.m. Eastern. I did see Davis was trying to stream head-to-head against us tonight on a redacted platform. And then the following week, Sean Siegel will be drafting with him at 7 p.m. Eastern. And then we'll be with Crack Rock the week after that at 7 p.m. Eastern.
Rock, man. You think he'll come out to Vegas this year?
I think he'll say he will.
He'll say he will.
Yeah. And then we're going to sneak in a Tuesday before we go out to Vegas. We're going to do a 5K big payback with Leone that we're streaming as well. So going to have lots of high stakes drafts around here. So subscribe. And then, of course, we do have Monday's ADP chasing. That's going to keep rolling. I believe Sherman is out this Monday. Gretch, have you committed to filling in for him on Monday or no?
On this Monday?
Yeah.
I can't remember if I committed to that or not.
I know you did.
I don't think you committed to it. that we can rule out.
The Giants.
I'll have to think through it. I think I might have scheduled something on Monday, honestly, in truth. But I'll try to be there for sure.
Figure it out. But we do need to figure out a defense here as well.
Miami.
Yeah, Miami.
We get the correlation with Devon Chan in Miami.
Ooh.
Incredible.
There you go. When he runs back a punt, ooh, it's going to be beautiful.
There it is. There it is. Let's go look at this team here, guys. I'll give it the rundown and then we'll get your thoughts. We got Jayden Daniels and Drake Maye as our quarterbacks here. We got our 5 running back room. I'll zoom in here for us. Devon Achane, Jonathan Brooks, Javonte Williams, Zach Charbonnet, Will Shipley. Got our wide receiver room that I absolutely love. CeeDee Lamb, Zay Flowers, T. Higgins, Keenan Allen, Xavier Worthy, Dontavian Wicks, Ja'Lynn Polk, and Troy Franklin. Got our 3 tight ends, Mark Andrews, Noah Fant, Theo Johnson. We chased some fucking kickers with Ian McPherson, and we got the Miami team defense. Let's go you first, Zack. How do you feel how this team shook out?
I'm pretty happy with it. We didn't take Jerry Jeudy, so this was a huge win in my book.
Yeah,
lots of guys I'm drafting lots of.
Love it. Draco, you feel good?
Yeah. This feels like a really good team. We only went a Chan running back early, but then we got some really high upside picks. I think in Brooks, Javonte. Javonte will help us carry the Brooks sort of injuries, and we'll get something from Charbs. Obviously, really strong receiver room, and then I think you guys touched on this, but starting Andrews, then waiting a long time, and then hitting it back with Noah Fant and Theo Johnson. That feels really strong. I'm a bit worried about how long these guys want to hold Drake Maye, but
yeah, well, I'm sure we'll have.
That's a fair worry to have. Yeah. I mean, honestly, I do kind of regret the Drake Maye pick. We could have had Kirk Cousins, who didn't get drafted. We could have had Baker Mayfield, who didn't get drafted. So it's a real shame to take an upside swing instead of just drafting a guy who wouldn't have got drafted anyway. I do.
Nobody put Baker Mayfield in the queue. Nobody wants that fucking guy.
What I like about this team, right? Every single position has an upside swing, at least, if not more, and then some fun stuff going on behind it to help fill it in, like the Mark Andrews. That gives us like an upside, like the TE1 kind of upside swing. And then we have Noah Fant and Theo Johnson, underpriced backup depth there. I mean, those guys, as I talked about on, with Noah Fant related to Underdog, like he's just going way too cheap here. Theo Johnson, I think, will end up going a lot higher. He's like very much going to be a riser on FFPC, I think. So he was a really, really nice pick to get this late. I love the way we backfilled wide receiver with the upside swings there. A couple rookies and Dontavian Wicks. And then Xavier Worthy's, a premium upside swing. Devon Achan's like just such a high upside anchor. Jonathan Brooks, so like very clear to see how he could be one of the guys you need down the stretch. Love the other 3 guys too. And then Drake Maye, Jayden Daniels is a very fun quarterback room. We might end up starting Kirk Cousins, who we get off waivers, but it's a fun way to draft it.
Gretch,
I think these guys put it really well. This is a fun team. Yeah, I mean, we're shifting over to the redraft mindset. It's definitely a different type of build. We were talking through some of the thoughts as they relate to, some of the other picks we've been making all offseason and stuff like that. But as far as like where we didn't have a team before we started, where we were when we started, where we ended. Like I don't know. I love the team. I think it came together really well. I voiced some comments about some of the picks, but I really like the team overall for sure. I'm really in.
Yeah, I think it's a really good structure. I also love, we kind of talk about it a lot where if you always do the kind of like 0 RB thing, like if you don't take Achan, you're almost always taking running backs, where we took like Wicks and Polk. And I like being able to play some of those 2v2s. Like I want to be able to take shots on some guys like Wicks and Polk and have not just completely miss out on a tier of player just because you're always building the same structurally. And so taking advantage of that Achan pick, where there aren't going to be a lot of running back selections we're going to love in our other main event draft slots, And so I think this was a fun opportunity to take advantage of that. And then I just love that running back tight end 2-3 turn to just kind of open up everything else, because positionally we were sweating the quarterback thing a little bit, but like when you have that running back tight end and elite wide receiver, it's just like the rest of the draft is your oyster.
Yeah, and the thing I like about this structure with the HN pick early on is it's not like you miss out on this tier of running backs. It's just that you're not like only living in that tier. So you're still getting your pick. If you draft a few teams like this, you're going to end up with a smattering of those running backs, but you're also going to have some of the wide receivers in that range because you don't have to like just put the blinders on and draft running back.
Yep. All right, dudes. Sacrilegious, you got anything cooking up at Leg Up? I mean, I also should mention these guys, we call them the stat chasing crew. They'll be doing stat chasing. We'll figure out the exact schedule again, but just awesome in-season context early in the week to get you ready for your daily drafts, your DFS contests, obviously waivers, everything. We're super excited to have you guys back again this year. Anything else on that front for you, Sacrilegious?
We're just hard at work over at Leg Up trying to get the sidekick ready for DraftKings, which we're hoping should be any day now. So keep your eyes peeled for that. We'll be announcing that in the Discord because it's going to go to our beta server first. But yeah, that's the thing I'm most excited about here. That and getting to finish up reading Pat's article series that he's got on the running back Oasis that is going to be capped off with an article from Daniel Rez.
Awesome. What about you guys? Drico, anything else? Are we going to get an article? We're going to get a RotoViz article from you, Drico?
I think I put it off a long time, haven't I?
Don't put it off another month, bud.
I gotta get back in the lab. I will. I'll be back in the lab this weekend.
Yeah, September 13th. How to win.
How to win best draft strategies.
How to win your resurrection.
Yeah, there you go. Gretch, Pat, what do you guys got?
Good.
I just wrote a big home league strategy guide, draft strategy guide over for the Substack subscribers, bengretch.substack.com, Stealing Signals newsletter. You guys know the drill. But yeah, it's a long draft strategy guide. I wrote it focused more on home leagues because I always get the question about like when you're in these leagues that there's not as much pressure to get the wide receiver depth, and there's not as many, but there's more running backs going early. You know, where do you take your detours? How do you take your detours? Let's talk through where I would do all that stuff. I think some of it's still obviously applicable to the higher stake stuff as well, the tougher leagues. But long strategy rich piece that came out like maybe an hour before we started the stream. So go check that out.
Awesome. Check that out on Stealing Signals. Pat, did I get you? You got everything there?
Yeah, I'll set out the 4-part running back piece that I had just finished up today. Daniel Raz, as Zack mentioned, will have an article out tomorrow on whether these running backs in like round 7 through 10, running back Oasis or running back Mirage, how to attack drafts this year. Stephanie Miller has an article coming out next week on dynasty auctions. Yeah, and then as Zack mentioned, hop in the Discord, the Leg Up Discord if you're a subscriber, because we've got the DraftKings beta launch coming out soon. And if you're curious about what that looks like, I did a Legendary Sickos today with Eric Bimeform. We drafted a 5-5-5 with the dev version of that DraftKings tool. But again, we're hoping we can get out in like the next day or so on beta. So also we have custom ranks for the Sidekick on beta. So if you're looking to check that out, hop in the Discord as well. Information there, and that will be launched on the normal Sidekick pretty soon as well. So look for an announcement on that.
Awesome. And then the one thing I would like to plug, I have a new video out on the Deposit Kingdom. I was working with Blair Andrews over at RotoViz, had an awesome series about where we find wide receiver breakouts, and piggybacked off of that to create a top 9 countdown list of breakouts. And he has some awesome research about the year 2 bucket in a specific cohort of rookies that tend to break out at much higher rates than any other cohort of players. We drafted 2 of them tonight. That is the spoiler alert there. But if you're looking for some breakout wide receivers, I run through that list and then also apply it to kind of both best ball and manage mindset. So check that out on the Deposit Kingdom. Like I said, the crew will be back for...
Is that out now or is that coming out?
That's out. Yep, that's
nice.
out.
Nice.
Yep. Little Dontavian Wicks action there. So everyone,
it's the first one that came to mind. I don't know who the other one is, but yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys, we're going to power this down. We'll see Monday ADP chasing next week, Thursday, with our short king, Davis Maddock, for Drico, for Sacrilegious, for Gretch, for Pat, for Nick and the Hopper, for the chat. We'll see you guys next time.